Yo, 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 it is Tuesday night. It's about 8:40. We're running a little behind, but that's okay. It doesn't matter because it's time for the Hockey Happy Hour. We do what we do here on A2D Tonight, we're going to start our Pacific Division debate. Tonight, we're going to cover the Ducks, the Kings, and the Vegas Golden Knights. So we got a lot to talk about as far as these teams go. So go ahead and hit that like. Go ahead, hit that subscribe. Definitely tell your friends to do the same damn thing. And you know what? It's time to go talk some off-season hockey, boys. Let's go.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying!
Oh, come in. It's almost time.
What's up, fam? It's happy hour time on A2D Radio, brought to you by the doc. That's Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, with 2 locations in Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Check out our doc. Make them yours at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As Brian alluded to, time to move divisions. We've covered the Metropolitan in its completion. Took 3 parts, but we got her done. Now it's time to move out west to Mr. Dale's. Yeah, I pointed the right direction. Mr. Dale's division out there in the West Coast in the Pacific Division. So we're going to dive in. We're going to be breaking down the first 3 teams, the Stanley Cup Champion, Vegas Golden Knights, the Los Angeles Kings, and Brian's Anaheim Ducks. But first, we want to know the Vegas Golden Knights. They're coming off the Stanley Cup win, right? Will they repeat as champions? Agree or disagree? You can hit us up in the comments. We'll be talking about it all show long. And today's poll was brought to you by Boaggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. They're the home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwich, cutlets, and meatballs. Now, if you mention A2D Radio, you get 10% off your in-store purchase. So let's dive right into it, Brian. First of all, Brian Daly, Rob Hovia, Brad Ryer is off this week. He's celebrating his 41st anniversary. We wish you well, Brad. Have a great time with the women. Do not tune in tonight. We'll give you your top 5s for each 3 teams at the end in the shootout. You can watch us tomorrow. Maddie's going to be jumping on with us momentarily, just having a few delays with his computer system. So, Brian, the Vegas Golden Knights, can they repeat? It's been done before.
It has been done before, and we saw it recently with the Tampa Bay Lightning, making 3 consecutive trips to the Stanley Cup Finals. But do I think that this team is as good as they are? No. I mean, obviously, Steve Yzerman built quite the dynasty over there. But I do think this Vegas Golden Knights is good enough to represent the Western Conference yet again and go back to back. The one thing that they needed to do was to get a couple guys re-signed, and they did that this offseason. I am actually just pulling up their roster right now. Not a whole ton of money to really play with this offseason, but you went ahead and you got Adin Hill back under contract, which I think they do need. Signed him to be the starter until Robin Lenher is 100% and comes back. Definitely.
I heard that story before.
Yeah, right. Especially with this organization. But, they go out, they get Adin Hill signed, and, you're waiting for Lenher to come back. And Adin Hill has certainly proven that he deserves the starting nod for this team. But there's a lot to go on here, and this team hasn't really changed much. They are going to have to make some moves to kind of clear some cap space when Lenher comes back, because as of right now, I believe I saw that they are just over the cap space with the LTIR for Lenher. So when he does come back, they will wind up being $4 million over the cap. So they got to figure out a way to get some cap relief here. You're going to wind up having to move somebody. And for me, I think that person is going to wind up being a guy like Jonathan Marchessault. He's on a 1-year deal. He makes about $5 million. That's his cap hit. So the question is he going to be the one that gets, I'm going to put quotes around, a sacrificed to make room for Robin Lenher? Because that he is your starter. You sign him to be your starter. Adin Hill's done a great job. He's definitely earned a role to stay on this big club. He won this team the Stanley Cup last year. So I'm going to sit here and say I'm going to agree that they can get back to the cup, but I'm going to disagree that I don't think they win it back to back with the roster that they have, because there is going to have to be a major move here to make some cap space.
Absolutely agree. Jake Frio chiming in from Birds of a Feather. What up, fellas? I disagree with the poll. I think the Knights make a deep run in the playoffs, but come up just short of winning it again. Kind of coincides with what you just said there, Brian. Matter of fact, making a really deep run all the way to the finals. Brad Kreisen going, let's go Flyers. Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully it should be a better year than last. This will be a great year. My prediction, Philadelphia Flyers make the playoffs. Hey, love to see that. I think if John Tortorella gets his team into the playoffs, that's a Jack Adams Award winner. Boom.
Oh, yeah. For sure. For sure, absolutely. No doubt.
What up, PD? Chiming in also for Birds of a Feather, always supporting us here at the Hockey Happy Hour. I disagree with the poll. Have a great show, fam. I'm expecting a lot of disagrees, Brian, tonight, because when you talk about it, yes, the Tampa Bay Lightning did go back-to-back. We had the Pittsburgh Penguins do it previously to them, but it's a rare feat, and I think it's a feat that's going to get more rarer, whatever the expression is. It's going to happen in the NHL because of the league parity. You're not seeing the dynasties like we saw before with the Edmonton Oilers and the New York Islanders in the 80s and, Pittsburgh Penguins and in two different eras, and the Detroit Red Wings, Tampa Bay Lightning on the, dynasty Tampa Bay Lightning. Real quick.
No, I'm going to go no.
I think they need one more. They would have needed one more.
Yeah, I got to go with that one. Yeah.
And if they happen to win it this year, which is unlikely, we'll get to that when we get to the Atlantic, but if it were to happen this year, then I would still, be part of that, but they're not quite there yet. So, and I certainly don't think this Vegas Golden Knights are going to qualify in that terminology because of the reasons you said there, Brian. They're so hamstrung by cap space. They already lost Riley Smith to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I had to, deal him off for, basically to shed cap space. So, I mean, you're already down one of your, original misfits? Is that what they were called when they came into the league?
Something like that. When
they went all the way to the Cup Finals. But, so you're down Riley Smith already, right? And now you're saying potentially Jonathan Marchessault. Well, that'd be a backbreaker. You're talking about the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. And you'd be going him, then that, and then between that and the questions between the pipe for Vegas Golden Knights, that'd be a wrap. If they lose Marchessault, forget about deep playoff run. They'll be lucky to get into the playoffs or at least be one and done or what have you. Show up, represent, defend your cup, and get beat in the first round. But Vegas has gotten creative with the cap space before, Brian.
Yeah, they absolutely have, and they're going to continue to do that because George McPherson, we saw it in Washington. He can work the numbers. He can make everything work out. Like I said, as of right now, they're good. They're going to head into the season. They're going to be fine as far as being cap compliant. But the thing that Robin Lenher is going to come back at some point. It's just a matter of when. And we said this last year, or at least I said this last year. I'm definitely not going to put words in your mouth there, Robbie, but I didn't see this team going anywhere last year with the goaltending issues, and now look at where they are.
Right.
They won their first Stanley Cup in their second appearance. And
now they're deep in the position.
And now they are. I mean, Brissois showed that he could play at this level. Aiden Hill, he played pretty well throughout the entire playoffs. But the one thing that I think is going to keep this team successful and it's going to continue to help this team make deep runs is having that defense stacked the way that they do. You have Zach Whitecloud, who is proven to be one of their best defenders. Nick Hague is proven to be a good top four defenseman. You saw Shea Theodore, Alex Pietrangelo, Alec Martinez. So there's guys on this defense that can play really well and defend the net really well. As long as they can continue to do that, and I would hate to see Jonathan Marchessault go anywhere because I think he's really good with this club and proving that Florida never should have given up on him.
Right.
Just because of where his contract is and how much he's going to want, it's going to make him expendable come the trade deadline.
Right. Don't forget too, you got Logan Thompson there in the midst, coming back from injury, but mind you, he was looking like a lock for Rookie of the Year before going down to injury last season. So, a position of weakness could turn into a position of strength. It's going to matter on the injury situations with Logan Thompson and Robin Lenher. Now, one element that I think would be a feather in their cap was them being able to ink, a trade deadline acquisition in Barbashev, who was a valuable player for them in the playoffs, Brian.
Yeah. No, Ivan Barbashev, he was one of the big guys that they got signed in this offseason here that really made a difference at the trade deadline too. I mean, he's not going to be the guy who's going to set the world on fire, and he showed that in St. Louis, but he's a good, hardworking, blue-collar kind of winger that they need. And, he just plays the game right. He's not going to set, like I said, he's not going to set the world on fire. He's not going to wind up on the score sheet every night, but, he's going to come in and he's going to make a hit. He's going to get in the corners. He's going to dig for pucks. He's going to win puck battles. He's going to do everything that he needs to do. His intangibles are pretty good, which is why he's lasted in the league as long as he have, and which is why he got the contract that he did from Vegas. So I mean, the keeping Barbashev on is that's going to be huge for Vegas this year, and he's going to continue to be a thorn in the side of a lot of players playing with his Vegas Golden Knights team, especially in the Pacific Division.
What's up, Swoopy? I see you.
Hey,
in the playoffs. Anthony Ade's going to watch for the Red Wings to make the playoffs. I absolutely agree. I think they've only gotten better this offseason, Brian.
No, I totally agree, and we'll get a little bit more in depth when sorry, Maddie popped up. Maddie's here. So we'll get more into that when we get into the Atlantic Division. But yeah, I mean, they made a lot of good moves this offseason, I believe, and they have also I like the addition of Jeff Petrie, which they acquired last week. So this team's only going up from there. He's gone.
How you doing? We saw him for a second.
We saw him for a second. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I just saw him again on the replay on Facebook.
Hey, me too.
Well, in the meantime, Brad Kreisen chimes in. Agree or disagree? Who will Blackhawks is retiring have as their captain, since I guess you say Jonathan Toews will no longer be in that position?
Yeah, I mean, the latest that I've gotten is that he's just sitting out this year to get healthy, and then he will be back. But he will be back as a unrestricted free agent. So whether or not he winds up back in Chicago is going to be a big question mark. And I guess he's asking who the next captain is going to be. I have no idea.
I mean, one could assume that it's going to be Bedard, and he's the type of talent that you could just strap the C on right from day one, like a la Connor McDavid. But I think because you had Toews in the position so long, right, and he still may be there to this point to pass the baton, and I think that would be more apropos. I think that would be great. But in terms of that, there's nothing wrong with going without a C for a while until Bedard earns it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it really goes for anybody on that roster, because there are a couple guys you could probably consider for Chicago. I mean, you bring in, for me, I actually just thought he just popped into my head now that I'm starting to bring it up. Nick Foligno would be a good guy to put a C on for the Chicago Blackhawks. And he did sign a 1-year deal. He's already been a captain of a couple organizations. He did a good job being a vocal leader in Boston before being traded to Chicago. He's a guy that maybe you consider for a 1 or maybe 2 years if you can get him to sign a 2-year deal. I think he only signed a 1-year deal if I'm not mistaken, but Foligno is a good guy to consider. But it's a young team. It's a rebuilding team. You don't necessarily need to put a C on anybody yet. I mean, you see this a lot, especially recently. Anaheim doesn't have a captain right now.
Right. Real quick, Brian, I do want to clarify too that Jonathan Toews will not be a Blackhawk, but he's not saying he's retiring from the NHL. He's just taking some time off as well. I mean, it could be the end, but we've seen him before take some time off and come back. So
yeah, we see. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he just played in the Marian Hossa retirement game, so I don't think hockey's out of the realm of possibility for his career moving forward. I think he just knows that he needs to get healthy first and get his body right before he can continue his career. I mean, he's only 34, 35 years old, so he still has some stuff left in the tank for sure. And I think we saw a little bit of it last year. Not quite Jonathan Taves-like, but he still has something left in the tank. And to say that he's done, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's done. If he does retire, it's for health reasons, not playing ability.
Right. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed. Get the swoopy going. Tyson Forster has really been getting good reviews. Yeah, they were raving about him on NHL Network last week, brother, enough to where they were trending on Twitter. But let's talk about what we think and expect to see from him. Will he eventually be a consistent 35-goal scorer?
That's going to be the question, and that's going to be something that time is going to be able to tell. I think we will eventually see that. I think he just needs to get a little bit more comfortable with playing at the NHL level. The small sample size, and I know, Robbie, you'll agree with me on this one, the small sample size we got from him last year, I think was really good. He did a lot of good things. He started to get comfortable towards the end before he got sent back down. It's just one of those things where he just needs time. He's a young kid. He's not going to come in here and immediately put up 35, 40 goals a year. He's not that kind of player, but I mean, he's going to make an impact. He's going to be an elite scorer. He's just going to need a little time to get acclimated with the NHL full time.
Yeah, I think it'll come down to the minutes that he gets, Brian. And I think right off the cuff, I expect him as to be a third liner. But if he could be a third liner, say with a Morgan Frost and a Wade Allison, and have them build up chemistry as he gets his beak wet with more NHL experience. Yeah, Brian, we talked about how heavy of a shot he has down the road. 3-4 years when we're back, hopefully out of this rebuild and ready to compete. Tyson Forster, 35-goaler, locked it up. Right now, I'd be happy if he broke 15, 16, and put up maybe 17, 18 minutes a night.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me either. Hang on, give me 1 second. Sorry, I got a little distracted.
No worries.
I'm trying to give Brad his answer. Because he was asking what the scoop was with Giroux. So with Tyson Forster, I think 15 to 18 minutes, I think is great for him just starting out. He's gonna be really good. I really believe that. It's not just the ratings that he's getting on NHL Network. It's the guys that are talking with him, talking about him, his work ethic. Ever since he came up to the Phantoms, his work ethic has been noted a lot, and that's what's going to make him successful in this league, and that's why he's gonna eventually be a 30, 35, potentially 40 goal scorer for the Flyers here. What's up, Maddie?
Hey guys, sorry about that. My headset was not connecting, so I had to figure that out there.
That's some bitch.
Goddamn technology.
Yes, it's only your friend when it wants to be.
Yeah.
So what were we talking about, gentlemen?
Tyson Forster. Could you see him being a 35-goal scorer down the road?
Yes. I think if the Flyers are able to become a powerhouse in the power play, I think he absolutely can achieve that. I think he could be a threat on the special teams. And I definitely think that even strength, as long as they're able to develop him properly, he should be able to get his fair share of assists on that side of the coin as well. But yeah, I think he can achieve that. I think that it just takes the effort of the special teams and the development for full strength.
Can I just note something real quick, boys?
Yes.
It's been a while since the original fucking tripod has been together.
I'm always down here supporting you too, right?
I wasn't even going to go there, but yeah, absolutely.
So what Rob's saying is he's the third leg of the tripod.
The world needs ditch diggers too.
Hey, nothing wrong with being a kickstand, bro.
Dude, listen, if you are a majestic third leg, then you know what? You ain't got nothing to be upset about.
I've been told so. I was like, really? Okay.
You don't believe it when you hear it, but you're like, oh man, like this is
I knew I was okay. I know I was in the ball game. I didn't know I was batting third. You know what I mean? Like, MVP player over here.
The fucking cleanup hitter over there. God damn. All right, Pope. I see you.
Yeah, man. You be pulling them freaking like inside the Parkers every time, all right? Everybody else gets on base, and you just like take one little swing of the bat and be like, oh, hit the wall.
Not Maddie. I'm not fast. I'm not fast.
Oh.
Hold up. I got a towel for you right here. Hang on. Let me get it off the wall here so you can get you to clean up with it after.
But yes, to answer your question from earlier, yes, Tyson Forster. Yes, I do see him hitting that point mark. I think that he can be effective on the special teams, and like I said, with development, yes, I think he could get working on the full strength side of things.
And we had to toss too that off the cuff. You know, I mean, he just got his first taste of the NHL and showed that heavy shot that he has. But you could expect bottom 6 minutes. You know what I mean? Maybe he could build chemistry with other young players on the squad, like a Morgan Frost, like Wade Allison, formulate a potential line in the future. But at the very least now, I expected maybe I'd be happy if Tyson Forster had 15 goals and played like 18 minutes a night.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I think that's a good like hit the nail on the head kind of range right there for him. For what Brad was saying, what can we expect from the Flyers? And will they be more consistent this year than last season? I will say that consistency is the goal for the Flyers. I can't guarantee it, but what I can say is that that's what they're going to shoot for. They're going to shoot for consistency because that's what you want to do. You want to see this team get more consistent with its performance. Last year was a bit of feast or famine, but this year, if they can get a little bit more consistent play out of it, that would be good.
Well, I think they naturally will, Maddie, because last year you had a lot of young players, you know, playing and a lot of veterans that really didn't want to be there anymore, and now they're not here anymore. But the veterans that will be coming back to this team, Juan Sean Couturier and Cam Atkinson, they can provide. I mean, talk about consistency. Those are two consistent players right there, if I've ever seen them. So, you know, I think in combination of that and all the younger players being another year older and a little more wiser, yeah, I can expect consistency with going through another really hardcore John Tortorella training camp, which is on the horizon.
Yeah, for sure. And just to kind of build off of that, Robbie, a little bit more, now you're a full year under John Tortorella and his system. You have a better idea what to expect going into training camp, into the season. You know, you got guys that are you know, laying on the ice after the first couple of days of camp, just trying to catch their breath. I don't think you're going to see that this year because guys already know what to expect now going into it. And I think we will see a little bit more consistency moving forward, which I don't necessarily know will lead to wins or losses, but we will see that consistency moving forward because we now know that's what John Tortorella is pretty much demanding. And now with the regime change and Keith Jones and Danny Briere taking over, I think we also see a little bit more of that expectation as well to move forward as well. Because, you know, now you have a regime that is trying to create an identity as well for this team. And, you know, that's going to come with time and development of some of these younger guys to see what's there. But yeah, it's just, you know, I think this team is going to be more consistent. I think now that they have a direction, it's going to lead to some good things for this hockey team moving forward.
I mean, the thing that we have to think about, I mean, and Brad does say, you know, does Tortorella have a better team to work with? I would say he does. You know, getting rid of guys like Tony DeAngelo, and I'm not trying to say that Tony DeAngelo was the worst thing in the history of the Philadelphia Flyers. Andrew McDonald still lives and breathes. But at the end of the day, He definitely didn't help anything. And so naturally, I think that yes, with guys like that kind of out of the way and him kind of having a better understanding of the youth and where they're going, I think he will have a better team to work with this year than he did last year. I mean, last year, the fact that the Flyers got as many wins as they did was kind of an impressive feat, considering the fact that this was a team that most people were expecting were going to be dead last in the division. And the fact that they weren't is kind of shocking when you think about it, because the expectations were as low as they could possibly be going into last season. So the fact that Torts was able to take this team and say, no, we've got some chances to steal some games. And you know what? They did. They stole a few here and there. I mean, hell, they stole the game of last year, the very last one. They won in overtime, So, I mean, this was a team that every now and again they surprise you and they would actually pull out a victory. Now, like I said, I think that does improve a little bit. I think he has a better team to work with this year.
Indeed. So, yeah, let's round it back, boys. I want to get your opinion, Maddie, on the poll tonight. And we're breaking down the Pacific Division. We've moved on. We got through our epic 3-part run of the Metro, and now we're talking Pacific. And we're starting off with the Vegas Golden Knights. And tonight's poll, brought to you by Diageo's Bread. Vegas Golden Knights will successfully repeat as Stanley Cup champions. What do you say, Maddie?
I don't know. The thing is, it's hard to repeat. Do the Golden Knights have a shot? Yes. Do I think they do? No. I don't think they do. I'm not saying that the Golden Knights wouldn't be able to make a run. I mean, hell, maybe they get back to the final, but I don't know. I feel like there's some teams in the East that could knock them off, and I also feel like there's teams out West that they got lucky that they didn't face. So I'm not so sure. I'm still wondering, okay, is Colorado going to have a rebound year? Are we going to see a better performance from Dallas? There's a number of question marks there that lead me to say I'm not so sure if Vegas could repeat as Stanley Cup champions. Is it out of their own possibilities? No. But is it very, very possible? I'm going to say no. I don't think they repeat.
I mean, they didn't really make any changes to the roster, which I guess for them is pretty good, but
I can't say that that's wrong. I mean, they won the cup with it, so I mean, right. I get it, but at the same time, it's like, let's put it to you this way: goaltending wise, they got hot at the right time, and they had a lot of goaltenders, but they didn't break when it seemed like they would have broken. Past Vegas teams tended to really not handle adversity very well. This was the opposite of that team. Mm-hmm. So I would say that a lot of it was a team effort more so than just goaltending. But I feel like after you win the cup, things change. A team dynamic change, a team mentality changes. I'm not saying the hunger dies, but it kind of is satiated a slight bit. I mean, the fact that Tampa won 2 in a row is a lot to say about how great that team is. But after the second one, teams kind of been, all right, they're showing that now they're starting to wear away a little bit. I'm not saying they're dead in the water. It's hard to get back to that level of I want the cup so badly and I'm going to fight for it and everything. I don't know if Vegas is going to do that, and I also don't know if the goaltending is going to hold up as it did this past year. Nothing against Brossoit or any of the other goaltenders that they had, or Aiden Hill, but Aiden Hill is Aiden Hill. And Brossoit, we really don't know what he is. He's still a rookie at the end of the day. We really don't know what he's capable of. He could be great. He might not. We just don't know.
Man, it's almost like he was listening to us earlier. I do have one, oh yeah. But I do have one more question for you, then, Maddie, regarding this poll question.
Sure.
Do you think, and this is kind of part of the reason why I think Tampa Bay's had a lot of success moving forward with head coach Dom Cooper. Do you think Bruce Cassidy makes a difference going into another year with his system? I mean, considering They just won the Stanley Cup in the first year with him.
Well, I definitely think he makes a difference in the sense that he made a difference when he got there. And I think that he will still make a difference because Bruce Cassidy is a really good coach. He's taken, Boston, obviously, we talked about how long it's going to be till Boston is going to fall apart. And he just kept squeezing as much out of that team as he possibly could. Did he have the season that we just saw? No. But at the same time, he's still got a lot of that Boston squad, and they still did a lot under him. And I think Vegas will still do a lot under him as well. The only thing is, though, is that where he had the advantage of working with really great goaltending in Tuukka Rask, and Swayman has been proving that he might very well be the heir to that. I ultimately will say that I think he might have a slight challenge in that department. And it may be weird to highlight the goaltending, but sometimes that does make the difference when you get to the playoffs. But in terms of the offense, I think he will have a great impact on them. And defensively wise, I think he'll have a great impact on that. It's just, that's the one aspect of it that I have the question marks on. But I think Bruce Cassidy overall, he is going to continue to make a difference for this Vegas squad.
Okay, cool.
And what was it? And by the way, Swoopy, thank you for the agreeing. I appreciate that. It's good to know that I'm not a complete idiot.
Just, partial.
Well, I need you guys. If I got you guys, then we're the complete halves of the idiot. We do need each other on that.
Tripod. That's why I keep saying we're the tripod, boys.
Right. What was Brad saying? Say, will Brian Elliott retire as a Flyer? I don't necessarily think so. No. I don't really think. Why would he? Don't get me wrong. I don't think Moose was bad for the time he was with us. I mean, he did his job. I think that's the best way to say it. He did his job. He had the misfortune of being on a team that was completely falling apart, and that's not his fault. But at the same time, I don't really think he retires as a Flyer. I think if anything, maybe he'll say, hey, can I retire as a Blue? Because honestly, that's how I would remember him, as the St. Louis Blue, really, more than anything else.
Yeah.
Right. Agreed.
I will say,
agreed.
Yeah, I will say that I did get to meet him once, and he's a really, really nice guy, and his wife is an absolute smoke show.
That a boy. That a boy.
Oh, Amanda Elliott. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's all I gotta say on that, boys.
What I do like about this Vegas Golden Knights team is they're still going to be strong defensively. And as long as you're strong defensively, you're going to help out whomever you have between the pipes. And you're always going to be in hockey games. You have a really tight top defensive pair with Alec Martinez and Alex Pietrangelo. And then second pairing, Brandon McNabb and Shea Theodore, who's been a long-standing player for this team, might be losing a step, but still a solid contributor. It's beyond them that things get a little opaque, but overall, you got to like this defensive squad, don't you, Maddie? Or Brian?
Yeah, Maddie, we ain't hearing you, brother. Damn it.
What up, Tom?
How about now?
Oh, we got you now.
Okay. This button, I hit the button again. Damn it.
You pulled a me.
Amateurs. Surrounded by amateurs.
Tommy saying he disagrees with the poll. Hard to repeat. It is hard to repeat. And I think in the NHL, it's the hardest to repeat. I mean, I know the NFL, it's tough because it's single elimination, but I will say that it's pretty damn hard to get through in the NHL. But, honestly, I do like the defensive side of it. I like it because, now here's the thing, though. I will say, though, that defensive hockey, I have a love-hate relationship with it. Not because I hate the Devils who used it to win cups, but because of the fact that
you can say that. That's fine.
I mean, that's the favorite. That's the homer in me coming out there. But if I could take those off for 2 seconds, I will say that the homer side of me aside, defensive hockey to me is a double-edged sword. It's very much like, okay, you're winning by 1 goal, you're winning by 2 goals, but the problem is that could change so quick in hockey, and it's like, I don't know. I know people complain about running up the score, but I'm like, if you're up by 4 or 5 goals, you know what? You ain't got to worry about them coming back. Yeah, they're going to try, but if you're strong enough defensively, you should be all right. Then it's the job of the coach to say, okay, we've got a nice cushion. Let's not lose it. Let's stay on top of it. But if you're trying to hold on to a 1 or 2 goal lead, it's like, I don't know, you're playing with fire. Yeah, you could do it against some teams, but maybe you take a bad penalty here, and then you got a team that's really good on the power play, and then they score on that power play, and then you've just given them a new little chance at this. It's like, that's the one thing I don't like about defensive hockey, is that sometimes teams have a habit of sitting on leads that they shouldn't be sitting on. It's like, I don't like sitting on 1 goal leads and 2 goal leads. It's a really stupid idea to do that. It's like, stay a little bit aggressive. Don't just take your foot off the gas and try to hold on defensively. I get it. You got some great defensemen. Yeah, you got a Norris Trophy winner back there. Guess what? If they score on a power play because that team took a bad penalty, that doesn't fucking mean a damn thing. So that's the one thing I have. I have a love-hate relationship with defensive hockey, but I have nothing against going and getting great defensemen and relying on defense to snag you a game or 2 if you're not getting anything going in the offensive zone. I have nothing against that. It's just I have a love-hate relationship with it. That's just my personal feel on defensive hockey.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying earlier in the show, Matty, here, like, the one thing that's going to keep this team alive is that defense. That
Right.
defense is really, really good, and there's a lot of depth and leadership, and believe it or not, there's a lot of youth on this defensive team as well for Vegas. So that's gonna do nothing but help whoever winds up in net, whether it be Aiden Hill, Logan Thompson, or Bruce Waugh.
Right. I mean, again, I have nothing against it. It's just that I have my love-hate relationship with it, because it's like defensive hockey can be great. It can also be bad if your team's not on their fucking game that particular night, So that's just the one negative side of it for me, because you don't ever want to sleep on your offense. You still want to get a couple of guys who can put a puck in the net when you really, really need them to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they're gonna. I think Vegas has to come to the idea that at some point, and unless they go the Tampa Bay route here and wait to activate them until the playoffs, if they can, they may have to part ways with a big name player to make room for Robin Lenher when he comes back, because they are currently with the LTIR just under the cap, and if Robin Lenher comes off the LTIR, they are $4 million over the cap. So that being said, I did throw this name out there, and I want to get your opinion on it since you're just now joining us and we're trying to catch you up. Jonathan Marchessault on a 1-year deal with a cap hit of $5 million for me is the guy that they probably have to shop.
Yeah, I mean, $5 million a year, that's a lot. It sucks because, man, is he such a big, important player. I mean, I look at Marchessault and I see a heart and soul kind of guy, and that's hard to get rid of because it's hard to replace.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, unfortunately, business is business. You do need goaltending, and say what you will about Lenher and his bullshit that he does off the ice. He is solid on the ice. So, I mean, if you got to do it, you got to do it. It sucks when you gotta make those decisions, but every team has to run into it, especially when you get to that point where Vegas is at, where they've gone all in all these years. It's one of the risks of going all in. You're not going to have the cap space that you'd like to have. So, I mean, I can't say they did anything wrong. They won a cup. So, I mean, Hey, you do what you got to do, at this point, if you're them.
Yeah, if you're in that position, whatever gets you to the dance, and especially when you're on a run where things are going your way, you know, you strap up grandma on her skates, get ready to go. Grandma, you're in.
Oh boy.
No,
Well,
would that be a
Grandma's
tag,
ready for that.
or are we tagging on that one, or are we, or is that one of those where you just say, "Hey, get on in here,
Get in the damn game, Grandma." No, I don't know where that came from, but you know what I mean, though.
Oh man, poor grandma.
Listen, sometimes grandma's got to live her best life.
Grandma got
Sometimes,
run over by a defender.
Yeah.
Shouldn't been her head down in a corner.
Was Brad was saying, will James Van Riemsdyk retire as a Flyer? Nah, I don't see it, honestly. Why would he? I mean, yeah, he spent time here, but I think he'll just journey out to finish out his career. Agree or disagree? Who is the best hockey coach, Haxtell or Laviolette? I'm going to assume he meant Laviolette.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Laviolette because he's won the cup, and I feel like his system does work in almost everywhere he's gone. I mean, he's got Nashville to the final. He got the Flyers to the final. Yeah, he didn't win, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like he's got 3 teams to the finals and he won one. So it's like, I mean,
Yeah, true.
No, he's gotten 3. He's got Carolina to the finals and he won. He got the Flyers to the finals in 2010, and then he got Nashville to the finals.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of Barry Trotz in 2018. Never mind.
Right. But Haxtell, I'm not going to say anything bad about Haxtell for this. I think Haxtell's good for developing players. And there are good coaches for that. But are they necessarily the coaches that are going to get you to the final? I'm not saying Haxtell can't. I'm not going to say that. But I am going to say that I think he's more of a developmental coach than necessarily a coach that gets you to the promised land. Maybe you know what? I am going to say it. You know what? Haxtell isn't the coach to get you to the final. He's the guy who's going to develop your young players and get them going in the right direction.
Maddie. You're ignoring Prism's comments. He's not pleased.
Prism. Where is he? I haven't seen his comments. Where is he?
I haven't seen him either.
He just dropped in the YouTube chat. He's like, what am I, chopped liver?
I haven't been ignoring Prism's. I haven't even seen his comments. I'm sorry, brother. Your comments haven't appeared on the chat.
No,
I'm sorry.
I haven't seen him either. I'm the one that's putting the comments up.
Priz, please tell Rob, read off any of his if necessary. I'm sorry, Priz. I really don't mean to be ignoring you. I just don't see them.
All right. Priz goes, let's go, boys. No to Vegas. I actually like the Kings and Dallas more this year than last year. Getting to the cup and possibly hoisting it. Boston has a lot of cap space to work with in the next few years. So that's a decent point. And then getting a goalie hot in the playoffs can make all the difference. Dallas rode Hudobin to the finals in a losing effort on a team with AHL call-ups playing every round. Cam Ward got hot and got a cup. Lenher back with Ottawa at some point is my prediction for Vegas Golden Knights, because they do have a logjam of goaltenders. Because I mean, one goaltender that you didn't even mention in your spiel there, Maddie, was Logan Thompson. A lot of people forgot about the stellar work he did in the first half before going down to injury.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he picked up the pieces after Lenher was gone.
He sure did. I mean, obviously. He's probably not going to have the starting job this year after what Aiden Hill did, but yeah. I mean, he did a great job early on. I mean, everybody doubted him. A lot of people were questioning whether or not he's going to be able to hold up to Robin Lenher's standards, and clearly he did. And it was just unfortunate to see him go down. And then we had more questions like, Vegas is done. They're going to this dude, Brissois, I've never heard of. He did a solid job goaltending as well. And then he goes down. We're like, oh, shit, they're done. 3 goalies down, dead in the water. Aiden Hill comes out of nowhere. What? And then they go get Jonathan Quick, who they actually didn't really play. He played a couple games here and there, but yeah.
I mean, hey, listen, Quick, he did the greatest thing ever. He won a cup without having to do shit. So you know what? Congratulations to him. That's his reward for the 2 that he won in LA. But which were solely because of him. But when it comes to you know, with Vegas and their goaltending situation, you know, with Aiden Hill, I swear to you, they literally walked outside the arena and they saw Aiden Hill homeless, just like, I will goaltend for food. And they said, hey, Aiden Hill, get your ass in net. You're playing now, man. You played in San Jose, right? You weren't complete shit? Okay, you weren't complete shit. Okay, you're in net.
Yeah.
Greg saying, who the hell likes jam?
Bobby Lett likes some jam.
All right,
That's
so
true.
real quick, Robbie, I saw your comment. Maddie, would you know how to get the YouTube chat back online? Because I'm seeing a lot of comments here, and I'm not seeing them in our chat.
No.
I know
actually,
when I go to
not
click
sure.
on comments, and then join the chat, it gives me an option to connect your YouTube account to join the live chat. Now, I'm not obviously logged in as A2D Radio. If one of you guys are that's producing, maybe that would be a way to do it. But I mean, I have no problem reading them off here, even if we can't show them up on screen. I can always keep tabs on it, boys.
True.
So we don't mess anything up, you know. I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean?
I'm not trying to touch anything. I don't know anything on the back end. I just know how to cover.
Right.
I just cover people's shifts. That's it.
Ralphie always just to let the fam in behind the curtain. Ralphie always produces us every week. Well, he's getting a much-deserved vacation this week, so we're sort of flying by our seat of our own pants this week.
What about Frank? Can I text him?
I mean, YouTube's up and running, but the chat's just not connected. I see you, Dylan.
I'll text him so that way we can see if we can figure that whole situation out. Sorry, guys, we're really not ignoring you. Swear to God, right now we are only seeing. It looks like we're just seeing Facebook. I don't even think we're seeing Twitter right now, honestly. So,
no.
Yeah, we apologize, guys. We are really, honest to God, not seeing your comments. We are not ignoring you by any stretch of the imagination. So, hold on a second. Let me see what we can do about that. So, but what is it? So Brad's saying, will the Penguins Capitals fall apart? We did talk about that last week. And we're all kind of in the situation of the Capitals are probably more in that line than the Penguins. The Penguins, we think, might have a slight resurge in life and could possibly sneak into a third place spot from what we were talking about last week there, Brad.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, okay. So there we go. It looks like we got it back. Okay. Whew. Sorry, guys. What's Dylan saying?
We did it.
Yeah.
Don't know what happened, but we did it.
I'm going to say Bri did that because I didn't do anything. So I'm going to give that credit to Bri there on that one.
All I did was just drop a comment on YouTube and it just.
There we go. It woke it up because I'm even seeing prisms now from like 5 seconds ago. Like Jesus.
I think we got some of the A2D fans watching us right now. Someone in the know helped us out. So if you're that person, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Because the YouTube are savages. We need their comments.
Right.
We love you. We love all of you.
In all seriousness, yes. Like Rob said, we love each and every one of you in the YouTube fam.
It's like every family that has 2 or 3 kids. You always have a favorite one. Mine's YouTube. You know what I mean?
Right.
No offense. Sure. No offense.
No, we love Facebook. We love Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called now. But you know.
Let's see here. Dylan
YouTube
saying,
has a heart.
What's going on, fellas? I'm ready for hockey, but not ready for the Calgary Flames hockey. This offseason has been underwhelming. Yeah, Calgary right now, I don't know what to expect from them right now. They are, I'm sorry, Dylan. I'm sorry. I know it's been a rough go of it. Who knows? Maybe because we have no expectations and we really don't think much of the Flames, maybe they'll shove it all up our asses and maybe they'll do something special. Who knows? Maybe they might. Maybe they'll be in the Stanley Cup Finals. Maybe they'll fucking upset Vegas in the Western Conference Finals. We can all point and laugh at them and see how they fucked up against the Calgary Flames. Who knows? I'm just being nice, but still.
Well, Calgary suited enough in our Pacific Division breakdowns here.
Right. Prism saying Pittsburgh keeps getting older, but those old guys are super talented still. That is true. I mean, say what you will about Kyle Dubas in Toronto. It seems like he has a better handle of the situation out there in Pittsburgh than Hexie did. Still, I still think I'm believing that theory that Hexie was a sleeper agent for Philly.
I mean, his first deal was a massive deal. It's hard to really look at Kyle Dubas and say this guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. No, I mean, like he's managed to shed contracts and he's managed to shed players that were not performing. I mean, overall, I would say Dubas has stepped into the GM role of Pittsburgh. I hate to say it, he's kind of made them relevant again. It's like, shit, Pittsburgh just will not fucking die. Like, Jesus, Boston's died. Now can you, Pittsburgh, please? The other black and gold teams now pissing me off to no end. I mean, they were before. What's the difference? But still, I mean, like we were saying, Pittsburgh right now with where they're at, they may very well surprise us and sneak into third place. I mean, if they do, then I pity the poor saps that get dropped out of the top 3 spots because it may not be them making the playoffs after that.
Well, former Vegas Golden Knight Riley Smith will help that cause as they add him to their lineup along with Erik Karlsson.
Absolutely. Dylan saying, Craig Conroy, I don't want guys that don't want to be here. Also, Craig Conroy says, why won't you sign Elias Lindholm? I know you said no, but are you really sure about it? Yeah, I think Elias Lindholm is absolutely sure about that one.
I mean, I would. He'd be a great second-line center.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, you can't say Calgary it's I want to feel bad for him, but they're also self-inflicted. It's kind of like the Flyers. It's like, I can't feel bad for you. You did this to your fucking self. So it's like, I feel bad, but I also don't. Prism saying, random question. Does McDavid or Matthews play for one team their entire career? If Edmonton keeps their shit up, no, for McDavid. And Toronto, I don't want to call Matthews a guy who likes to drink the Kool-Aid, but I feel like he might be more willing to stick around with Toronto since Toronto's been more consistent in terms of making it into the playoffs. But I don't know. I just feel like Matthews wouldn't be... Maybe I'm like the type. Maybe I'm thinking wrong, but I'm thinking personality-wise, I'm thinking Matthews wouldn't necessarily do it. I think McDavid might.
I see it the other way around. I see Matthews as that disgruntled postal worker. You know what I mean? That's ready to go off at any moment. Maybe it's the cheesy stash. I don't know, but he could certainly, benefit from a change of scenery in terms of playoff luck, and he might want to go there at one point. Whereas with McDavid, I just see him as being that more like Midwest boy, a la Canada, right? They're like wholesome dude that stays in Edmonton his whole career. And let's face facts, Edmonton let one golden god away. You think they'd let 2?
I mean, no, but at the same time, I mean, here, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at this from more of an analytical side of things, more so than practical side of things.
Oh, bad call. Sorry.
But I will say that if I'm McDavid, though, you got to look at it and say, like, this team is never going to fucking get good goaltending. It's never going to get solid defense. We are never winning a fucking cup. I can score 100 goals a year, and they still won't get the fucking job done because McDavid's still one guy. Him and Draisaitl are still only 2 guys. And yes, they are 2 spectacular guys. But we're dealing with a salary cap era, not the era when Gretzky was around. So it's kind of hard to justify paying as much money as you do to only have 2 players really be satisfied, and you just get a bunch of flotsam and jetsam to put around them and try to pray for the best. And I feel like that's what Edmonton's doing. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I feel like that's what Edmonton's trying to do. Just get the flotsam and jetsam and say, listen, McDavid and Draisaitl are going to make up for everything. Are you sure? Are you 100% sure on that? I'm just saying. Now, if Kale Yamamoto turns out to be a great pickup for Seattle, maybe there might be something to that. But typical next door saying, "Hey fellas, what's up, brother? I know." Oh, wait, what were you gonna say, bro?
I was just gonna say, I know I'm kind of half in here because I got these Phillies
Good right now, yeah, I got you because I'm seeing it too.
We were forgetting one little minor detail here, fellas. Austin Matthews has expressed interest in playing for his hometown Arizona Coyotes, so I'm gonna roll him out.
Oh, okay, that's a good point. Yeah,
I think if anybody right now is going to do it and wind up playing for one organization, I think one of the last few guys that are going to do it, guys like Ovechkin, Crosby, Malkin, I think those are going to be like the last three because, like, Matt, you brought up a great point with salary cap, Eric, because at some point you're going to have to, with some of these guys, especially when you're rebuilding. So, I mean, I think McDavid could possibly do it. Matthews, when his contract's up in Toronto, I think he's going to Arizona.
So what would that mean, though? Like, do you think that says a lot about the Canadian franchises? I'm not, and this is not a knock on anyone who's a fan of your respective Canadian franchises. We love you guys just as much, but it seems to be a trend, like I hate to say it, but it's like 2 star players, the 2 generational talents of their respective draft. They go to 2 Canadian franchises and one leaves to go to Arizona. If he leaves to go to Arizona, that is damning for Toronto. But on top of that as well, if McDavid leaves and goes somewhere else from Edmonton and he goes to an American club, it's like, holy shit. Do you think that says something about the Canadian franchises a little bit? Like, I mean, personally, I like the Canadian franchises. Just like, do you think that maybe they're not run all that well? Like, I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying, like, if McDavid and Matthews are both leaving and they're both Canadian. Well, actually, no, that's wrong. Matthews is American. So I forgot about that. Matthews is the best American player. Okay. He's got to break Kane's shit. Once he does that, then he will be. But, still, you get my point.
Yeah, I do.
Bases loaded, 1 out.
It's a big ending for them. But depressed Oilers fan saying Oilers are cursed since 2006 and Vancouver has it lucky. I don't know if Vancouver has it lucky. I mean, you guys at least have those 5 cups. Poor Canucks have nothing. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yes, I know 1990 is getting farther and farther away, but still. Let's see here. Yost fans like, ooh, weenie roasting the Oilers. Well, Prism saying it's never too late for Matthews to go back to college. I like that. Good joke.
Go get your degree.
Yeah, go get your bachelor's in hockey, in how to run a hockey team properly. Let's see. Yost fan said I roasted a burnt McDavid.
Bad. Come on, Trey.
Ooh, bases loaded, 1 out, 2-2 pitch. Ooh.
Single wins the game.
Holy shit. I could see this. This is a tight one right here.
Come on, Trey. Anything close?
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Let's see here. Dylan saying McDavid is Canadian and more than likely to sign somewhere in Canada. Matthews is American. Those players tend to run back to the States. Kachuk, Goodrow, etc. That is a good point. That's a good point. Homesickness. I can't take that away. McDavid is a Canadian player. Watch him sign with Vancouver, which would make me say, well, listen, you had it rough in Edmonton. Are you sure? Oh, yes! Oh, big hit for the Phils. Nice.
Get down. Let's go!
And the Phils win it. Wow.
Duval should have not tried to play that ball. Let's go! Huge win.
Wow. Well, congrats to the Phils fans out there, which does include Mr. Brian Daly over here.
It's always nice to be Kapler, right?
Always nice to be Kapler.
What is he doing with that staff? My God, man. He's giving me more. He would give me more gray hairs if I had hair. Gives me more gray hairs here. Yes.
Right. In
It's all in
the
here now.
stash.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, at least you're rocking the nice stash. You know, not everybody can do that.
Well, what's
So-
great
Try
is you know, this team from the little bit I've seen back and forth between doing the show and watching the game, Phillies have got a lot of nice hits tonight. They made a lot of hard contact, but they kept finding somebody. It's nice to see them get a bounce to go their way.
Yeah, you gotta stick with it, man.
And let's
the bad
see.
the gods will always come back for you.
Yes, sir.
I will say,
where we left off.
I will say though, what Dylan was saying though about the guys who come from the States. I mean, Gaudreau, he had been teasing a leave every now and again. But for Tkachuk really, he wound up back in the States beyond his control because he happened to be in Winnipeg when they moved to Arizona. And then he got the fuck out of there because he realized, why the fuck am I here? Let's see here.
You're talking about his pappy? Yeah, that's who I thought he meant immediately too. But you saw Matthew Tkachuk go from Canada to Florida to Cheers. And I was like, oh yeah, like father, like father, like son, right?
That's a good point, actually. I forgot. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that Tkachuk has two sons that are currently playing in the NHL. Brady being the other one who sits up in Ottawa right now.
Easy to forget about those Ottawa players.
Yeah, you can. I mean, we sleep on them now, but who knows? Madonna over Matthews at this point. I mean, who knows?
Yes.
I mean,
at this point, yes.
Matthews is still an active player, though, so let's hold off for a second here. We don't know for certain what's going to happen.
And
we really don't.
He pumps out goals like Ovi, too, at some points, man.
Right,
yeah,
and
for sure.
Special player.
And on top of that as well, too, I would say Kane over Madonna. I mean, yes, I know Madonna has that. He kind of was the standard bearer for a good long while, but I hate to say this, you got to kind of roll with Patrick Kane as the best American player. It's hard to argue against him. I mean, the man's won 3 cups. On top of that as well, he's Mr. Showtime. I mean, that guy wound up taking the standard and saying, yo, Madonna, can I have that shit? I mean, you're not playing anymore, right? Cool. Can I have it? Thank you. Fuck off. So, and I think actually that's exactly how Kane would phrase that. So, let's see. Canucks Dork saying, and we shot a coyote to outer space. If Matthews goes to the Coyotes, yes, you will see a coyote shot into outer space. Anthony's saying, I want to see the Coyotes win the Stanley Cup. Well, if Matthews goes there and they build the team around him, who knows? The sky's the limit for them there. And if Arizona wins a cup, I'm officially declaring Armageddon has started. So let's see here.
Wouldn't it be cool? One day we're talking about Bobby Brink as the next great USA player.
That would be awesome.
Good.
That would be awesome. Let's just hope that Philadelphia's curse doesn't come and get him.
Timestamp it 102 on August the 22nd. So maybe like 25 years from now, maybe I still might be around.
Put it in a time capsule, a little clip on a flash drive that somebody could put in, and somebody would look at it like, what the fuck is this? Oh, that's the thing we used to take data and put it on, so that way we didn't lose them.
I do love this comment by Dylan here. I just had to throw that one out there.
Gabe Kapler just slammed his bottle of coconut oil.
Got it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, sometimes you gotta slather yourself up every now and again. You never know when a photo shoot's gonna break out.
By the way, I want to just give a shout out to all the Hot Take Hockey guys that have been rolling through the last few weeks. You guys have been amazing, and you're bringing all your friends, and I love it. We appreciate you guys. You guys bring it every week. Whalers Hockey Soup, Mighty Ducks for Life. Which Mighty Ducks for Life? Stick around. We're gonna break down the Ducks here in a little bit. We got to get through the Kings first. So, you know, we appreciate all you guys that jump in here and throw in your comments. You know, you guys that come in regularly, you guys that are just showing up. And obviously the guys who are part of the station that continue to support us as well.
So we'll We'll do this comment. Speaking of that, we'll do this comment, and then we'll jump into the Kings. Gentlemen, since I am coming in a little later, did you do a read for the second period? If not, I shall.
Not yet.
Okay, so I'll do that. But first, let's see here. Whalers Hockey Soup 3 saying Pacific Canadian teams are just weird. They're that one school kid who gets rejected at the school dance.
Right.
Wait, hold up. That was me.
What?
Oh.
Hey, was someone dressed as an Ewok at the Phillies game? I just realized that.
Yeah, the Star Wars night.
Oh, that would explain it. Okay. Hey, listen, that's a brave soul right there who's dressed as an Ewok. Ewok pride, motherfucker. You wear that. You wear that shit.
Do me a favor, Brian. Drop the comments so they can see our name tags real quick.
Hang on 1 second. Let me pull it up here real quick.
And while you do that, I will deliver the read for the second period. And the second period tonight is brought to you by All Campus OC, home of the A2D ramp booth. John Coyle, who runs that shop down there in Ocean City, New Jersey. Feel free to check it out anytime. I mean, I know obviously we're getting towards the very end of the summer, but there's still a slight bit of time left before it's to catch some of that nice summer weather and early fall weather too. Early fall weather is not all that bad. So you can head on down to Ocean City, go check out the shop, All Campus OC, get your team colors with pride. John Coyle is running a special with 20% off of everything in the store, including hats, shirts, and as well as team cornhole sets and everything of the nature for the A2D subscribers. So get subscribed up so you can get that. And check out the ramp booth, say hi to John, and wear your team colors of pride over at All Campus OC. All right, then. So
also, real quick, that's how you become an A2D member. $9.99 a month. Appearances on shows, members only streams, shout outs, weekly picks from the guys from the Money Pot podcast and our very own Willie Degas. So definitely sign up. All kinds of perks to go with it, and we're still coming out with some as we go. So, sign up. Let's go.
Right. Definitely become an A2D member, and it supports us, and we give you guys some nice goodies on top of it as a thank you for supporting us. All right. Yes,
and
Ryan.
One last thing to the people that are supporting us tonight that Brian pointed out, the Hot Take Hockey guys, right? I wanted to put the nameplate out here, right? Anything you guys are putting out there, you want shared, you want reposted on Twitter, hit me up at Rob or tag me at Rob_Povey on Twitter, or drop the underscore at Rob Povey on Facebook, and I'll reshare. I'm happy to, you guys support us so much. I it'd be my honor to at least do the same for you fellas. Awesome. Yes, absolutely. And as we jump into the second period, we'll dive into the Los Angeles Kings. Stars fan, thank you for the comment of the cool pennants. Thank you very much. They are cool pennants.
Thank you, Robbie. The only one that's missing is the St. Louis Blues one. That one decided to be an asshole and fall down all the time, so I had to take him off the wall. I guess they figured out that Jordan Bennington was his goalie, so it had to be an asshole.
Whoa!
What? Too soon? Too soon?
Little bit.
What? He only got his team eliminated from the playoffs. Anyway,
water bottle coming at your head.
Typical Canucks dork saying, "Shh, I'm hiding in my igloo wearing my foil hat, saying the Canucks are great."
That's great.
Oh, our friends saying lit.
Wait, hang on, time out. I want to jump back to that real quick. How do you get electricity in your igloo? You get Wi-Fi in that thing?
I mean, it's Canada. I'm assuming most people live in igloos up there. They've got that all figured out.
Especially Vancouver.
Right. So, Robert Francis, thank you for the lit comment. Prism saying Kane, Madonna, Matthews for now, and Brian Leach underrated. Oh, yeah, Brian Leach absolutely underrated as an American player. Chris Chelios, yes. Even if he was a dick on the ice. Let's see. Whalers Hockey Soup 3 saying, how do you make hockey soup, fellas? I don't know. You know how to make Whalers Hockey Soup, so tell us how to make hockey soup there. We ask you, good sir. You
throw in some checkers? I don't know.
Well, let's see here. We also saying Vegas ain't winning another cup, so obviously he disagrees with the poll.
I mean, I said the same thing last year that they weren't winning the cup last year, and look at where we are.
Yeah, but to be fair, they hadn't won a cup yet, so
Yeah.
sometimes things change when you do that. Again, thank you, Stars fans, Jackalope. Anthony's saying, Pove, can I borrow $9.99 to be an A2D member?
No problem, buddy.
See,
What's your Venmo? Hit me up with your Venmo.
This is what happens when you win all them bucks on the fantasy sports. People start asking you for money.
It's cool. It's cool. I give back. I'm free. I'm here for the people.
Right.
That's why they keep me around, Maddie.
You're the people's champ, Rob Povia.
You got to get you a belt. You just hold up the belt. It's got to say people's champ on it, too.
Absolutely. It's got to be a big gold belt, though. Be the only way. It's got to be. Well, let's see here. Will's saying, what's up, boys? What's up, Wills?
Hey, Willie.
How are you, my brother?
So you had Robin lots of blackjack.
Nah, my girl's great at the blackjack. That's her game. Blackjack is not my friend.
I wish.
She's does she go down to AC every now and again and come back with like a nice chunk of change? Nice.
Yeah, a couple times we've been down there. Yeah. She won. What we do is play a little money in slots, lose that, and then she wins it back in blackjack, and I win it way more back in poker.
Yeah.
The last time we went down there, she took down 180 on the blackjack tables, and I won a stack plus I think what 650 on the poker tables in 3 hours. It was magical.
Bro.
Yeah.
Damn, man. You guys are like the fucking dynamic duo over there.
I sat at the best table, man. It's what I call an ATM table. It's guys that just like to fire money to try to be aggressive and push people around, and they don't realize that I know how to play.
So basically you're hustling. Hey, listen, I ain't got nothing against that, bro. You make that money, bro. I
got pushed all in with trip queens and then caught a 7 for a freaking full boat. I was like, thank you very much. Come again, please. Thank you.
Wow.
Come again.
I would say that I know what you're saying. I don't. But I'm going to take your word for it.
Fantasy is not my only game, my friend.
I see. Them side hustles. You got to have them.
All right, enough about me. Let's get back to the hockey. The Kings.
So to the Los Angeles Kings we go. And for the King, unfortunately, it has been a rather difficult time for the Kings. I say difficult in the sense of that they went through that rough patch, then they got better. Now they're trying to get out of the first round, and that's tricky sometimes. Hopefully, they have what it takes to do so. They have been a little active this offseason to make that a possibility. Unfortunately, they have ran smack dab right into the Edmonton Oilers twice, and very underrated rivalry between those two teams. And, we've seen the results. Although, if you blinked and missed a moment, there was a moment there last year where you thought maybe the Kings might actually upset the Oilers here. They just might pull it off because them sons of bitches keep on snagging that series lead in those overtimes. And it looked like it there for a second that Edmonton was going to blow it, but Edmonton pulled it out towards the very end there. So, gentlemen, what are you thinking about the Kings? Do you think that they've done enough to really shore themselves up moving forward to possibly getting out of the first round? Or do you see this team doing what they did the last couple of years, getting into the playoffs, but being a first round out, not even just against Edmonton, just in general?
Robbie, I'll let you go first.
Right on, brother. Thank you. Very nice. Very kind. I would say, yeah, Maddie, that they absolutely did, because what they lacked in that a playoff contest against Edmonton Oilers was ability to match their scoring. And you bring in a guy, Pierre-Luc Dubois, who has shown he can be a goal scorer in this league from Winnipeg. You get him via trade, and now you ink him down. And then also, they also do the same with Vladislav Gavrikov, which was big, in terms of freeing up the money in that three-way deal that involved Philly's Ivan Provorov, freed up money to where they could land, ink him down as well. I think the two of them, in here in the system now locked in for a while bodes well in terms of not only for the future, but for right now. they have that security, and I think you're going to really see that on the ice. This is my sneaky team to win the Pacific Division.
Oh, wow. So you just got them saying, hey, Vegas, congrats on you winning the cup. Fuck you. We're taking the division.
Right. Well, I mean, again, it's goaltending, right? But Phoenix Copley, he's going to be a little bit further along. He can take the reins here, as Brian eloquently wrote in today's show description. And then he also points out that they brought in Cam Talbot in that, and that's a really nice tandem there in terms of giving them some stability, a position that they didn't really have to worry about for a long time with Jonathan Quick. And now it's moving on to the next era of Kings hockey.
Yeah, I mean, right now, obviously the Kings have definitely been pushing themselves to get themselves better over the last few years. I mean, it's nothing like getting into the playoffs and then running into a brick wall to teach you how to play right. But so far, I would say the Kings are in an interesting situation where they're at, But personally for me, I'll just say how I feel on the Kings before we go to Bry. Other way, damn it, gets me every time.
The opposite way that you won a point
every goddamn time. But anyway,
every time.
So I will say for me personally, I see the Kings. I think that they could upset a first-round opponent, but it has to be the right first-round opponent. I don't necessarily think that they could do it to just anybody. If they come up against Edmonton, I still have my doubts on Edmonton, so I still think they could beat them. Last year they didn't, but you know what? I think they still can. I think if things go the right way for them, I think they could take a series off of Edmonton, and we can all point and laugh at them again. But I think LA could go to the second round off of them. I also think that they could go off the second round off of a couple of other teams as well in the Pacific Division if they draw them. Obviously if they take on Calgary, if Calgary makes it into the playoffs, I think the Kings can beat them. If, say, they have an overachieving Ducks team, I could see them beating the Ducks. I feel like if we have a very overachieving Canucks team, I can see them doing that to them. So I think the Kings, depending upon who they draw, I think they can get out of the first round. I think if they face Vegas, though, yes, the goaltending is the issue, but I still feel like, I don't know, that aggressive offense might be a little too much for them. Just a little too much right now. There's little questions on their goaltending as well for the Kings. So I don't know. I feel like that would be a little too much for them to handle. Not to say they couldn't fight. I think it could go a decent distance, but I think the Knights get the nod. My personal take on that.
No, and I respect it, and it's fair. But Gavrikov helps them out there in terms of defending them, and they got a little. And then don't sleep on Quentin Byfield now. Ready to take a larger step on the top line with this team opposite Kopitar and Kempe.
I'm definitely not sleeping on them, and I definitely think that that's what makes the Kings a more viable threat this go around. And that's why I think that, again, if, say, they were to face Edmonton that has a weaker defense and not really that great goaltending, I think LA could sneak a win on them. Whereas I feel like Vegas is yes, they could get some goals on them, but I feel like Vegas might be able to handle it a little bit better. That's just my take on it. I feel like Vegas would handle that better than Edmonton would. So that's where my dynamic is looking at from the other two teams that have been routinely in the top three with them.
For me, I'm with Priz on this one. And what's up, Sharks fan? See you popping in here.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
It feels wrong to say with what I'm wearing right now, but I do really like this Kings team. I think this Kings team has the start of something special here for them. Like Rob was saying, you go out and get Pierre-Luc Dubois just before the draft. You get him signed to a long-term deal. You get Vladislav Gavrikov at the trade deadline from Columbus last year. You get him signed to another deal. You get Michael Anderson signed to another deal that solidifies that defense there. And you bring in Cam Talbot, who I don't think, and you guys know, ever since his days in Edmonton, I've never been huge on Cam Talbot. but I think he's not the best, but I think he's good enough to get this team on a run in the playoffs. But I don't see them really being him being as big of a factor as Phoenix Copley's going to be. You know, we're out of the Jonathan Quick era in LA. It's going to be really weird to see him not there come the season opener, but you know, we thought this was going to be the Cal Peterson show. Shows that he didn't really have it, so they sent him to Philly in that Ivan Provorov deal. You know, so it's the Copley show, and Cam Talbot's going to be there just for support. But I like this defense. I think this defense is going to be strong, led by Drew Doughty for one more season. And yeah, to me, this team's going to have to convert on special teams if they want to win playoff series, and move forward. I thought that was something that they struggled with last year, especially with the power play. I know they had a rough pull last year with, I believe they had Edmonton in the first round, who traditionally at this point seems to always have the best power play going into the playoffs. And
usually
with that offense, it's hard not to. But you know, this Kings team, you know, they have the offensive firepower. You got Kempe coming back. You want to see him maintain some consistency. You got Kopitar coming back, Philip Deneau's in another year, Kevin Fiala, Victor Arvidsson. All these guys may not always be the type that's going to set the world on fire, but these are good, solid role players that understand their role, understand what they have to do on the ice, and they're blue-collar players. A big fan of Philip Deneau. Loved him in Montreal. I thought he was really good there. Continues to be another asset with the LA Kings. And the one thing that, and Rob alluded to this, I think a big key to their success this year, because I don't see them as a rebuild team anymore. They're a competitor. Quentin Byfield has to take the next step this year.
Yeah.
He definitely, because we know that he's got the potential to be a 35 goal scorer. Big-bodied center, a guy that can play similar style to Kopitar. And to me, that's a future captain moving forward. He's got to take the next step. And it can't be just a little small step. He's got to take a leap because he's been up enough. He understands the game a little bit. He understands the system. He understands the expectations. So he's got to take that step forward. But for me, I think this Kings team, I think they get out of the first round. I think they are a second round. Potentially, and to Maddie's point, depending on who they draw, could wind up in a Western Conference final.
All right. Sharks fans saying, how long before Kopitar and Doughty era ends? Well, how old are Kopitar and Doughty?
Well, Kopitar is 35. He's got 2 more years after this one. And then Doughty is 33, and he's got 3 more years after this one.
I mean, if they continue to have their stellar play, I mean, they've had a rebound in the last few seasons, and I think that's in no small part to the young kids coming in and really injecting some life into the team. But, I mean, I could see them getting extended to a 1 or 2 year deal even after their deals are over. If they still feel like playing, I could still see them sticking around for a little while longer on the Kings, honestly.
Kobe at least.
Right.
Kobe at least. I mean, I know he's getting up there in age, and he's taking a huge team-friendly deal coming back with that extension that he had just signed. Going from $10 million to a $7 million cap hit. So that's a team-friendly thing. So he's trying to save him some money there. The question is, what does Doughty want to do when his contract is up? Because he'll be 36 when it's up.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Do you think that you see a guy who might go cup chasing?
He's already got 2.
Right. So
yeah, I'd say they both finished their careers as Kings, specifically Kopitar. These years are key for him because he can cement his legacy as being one of the greatest Kings of all time, and that's saying a lot.
Right, because you put yourself up there with Marcel Dion and Luc Robitaille. So, yeah, I could totally see why. And Gretzky, of course.
I got 2 of your top 5 out of you real quick like that. You see what I did there? You see what I did there? I'm sneaky. I'm a sneaky fuck.
I see why you're good at – we figured out why you're good at poker. So –
Poker face.
So, the the one thing too that the Sharks fan said, he said, we beat the Kings in the conference finals and lose to the Flyers in the Cup because of chaos. Listen, as happy as I would be for the Flyers to win the Cup, and I'd be very happy, I would feel terrible. I'd be like, Jesus, you talk about like the worst situation for me personally. Like, Jesus, we beat the Sharks to do it. Like, of course, because the hockey guys just want to shit on me whenever they fucking can. So,
hey, either way you win, really. But I mean, do you really win if the Sharks win? Come on, be honest.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like that'd be a nice thing to say.
It's like a consolation prize. It's like getting silver in the Olympics. It's garbage.
Apparently, that only counts if you're a Canadian hockey player and you take the silver medal off your neck. But anyway, so.
All right. Okay.
And in case you ever want to see me and Brian get into a heated argument, go back to the vault and check that argument out. That was a fun one. But
I mean, we've had a couple heated debates, but that was
a really heated one. Yeah. Let's see here. Raska saying William Nylander to the Ducks. How do you feel about that there, Bri?
I mean, I'm good with it. There seems to be a rumor of that happening at the trade deadline. So, I mean, I'm good with it. He needs a change of scenery for sure. And he's a goal scorer that is desperately needed in Anaheim.
All right, then. Then he also says Wayne Gretzky is a living legend with the Kings scoring all the goals with them and the LA Kings. Well, I mean, he also did play a part in Edmonton. So
the Rangers.
Then the Rangers. So and even the Blues for the half season he played there. And then Mike Keenan scared him away. So
that cup of tea that he had, because I don't know if he drinks coffee.
I don't think he does. But I know that he did actually fuck up though and mishandled that puck that Steve Yzerman scored that got St. Louis eliminated that year. So there you go. Yep. Sharks fans saying, "I give the Ducks a sack of potatoes." Well, I mean that would be. Yeah,
I mean, just got rid of one in Maxime Comtois. So
good old Comtois.
Come again.
And you know what's funny? I don't think he signed anywhere yet. I think he's still a free agent.
Talk about that 1 year he was like spectacular, and then after that, that was it.
We get one good year out of you, and then we get buff kiss.
What was that, like 2-3 years ago? I think we were talking about how, wow, this guy's amazing, and then it's like, yep,
so much potential. You know, he's got potential, dude.
Boy, that went to shit real quick, didn't it? Oh, anyway.
Bob Murray doing what Bob Murray did best. Drafting garbage.
Listen, he probably drafted him because of the name.
Hot, steamy garbage.
Smell it from here.
All right, so let's see here. So, to finish up too with the Kings, I see them finishing at I actually could see them taking second place. First place, maybe. If the Knights fall off, I could see them sneaking into first place, but I'm going to say second place. That's where I think they finish up. I think they actually outdo Edmonton this go around. I'm assuming Edmonton's going to be in the top 3. So I'm going to roll with the Kings taking number 2.
I'm with you on that. For me, it's hard for them to not finish in a division spot. I really do believe that this team is going to be really good. The addition of Pierre-Luc Dubois is really going to help this offense really find some kind of consistency, and he's going to help the power play. And it's really going to be up to the special teams to really see where this team is really going to find that success and see how deep this run goes.
Absolutely. The Sharks, how Phil Kessel posing after the cup win. Listen, man, that guy can do whatever he wants. He's won 3 cups, and he won the 3rd one without having to do shit. So there you go. That's like the ultimate thing right there. It's like, I won a cup. I didn't have to do shit.
That's Jonathan Quick, too.
Yeah.
He literally didn't do anything.
Right. At least Phil Kessel actually skated.
Jonathan Quick just set up in the press box. That's all he did. He didn't do nothing.
Oh, man.
He's got a ring. He's got his name on his cup, and he's updated his tattoo.
Yeah. Seattle saying Seattle is interesting from the Sharks fan. That will be interesting. We'll definitely talk about them either next week or the week after that or whenever we get to Seattle. But yeah, keep your eyes on Seattle. They're going to be an interesting thing to look on with expectations now on them. Thrashers Forever fan saying Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Anaheim, Vegas, then LA. Holy shit, he put LA dead last? Oh, no, last is San Jose. Okay. All right, I can agree with the San Jose being dead last. But Seattle, Vancouver, LA is way too low there, brother. It is way too low.
Vegas is way too low as well.
Yeah.
That's your top two right there, in my opinion.
I mean, if
what's the craziest part about it, and we'll get more into it. I think we're going to do Seattle next week. It's either going to be next week or the week after because I might want to cover all three Canadian teams at once next week. We'll see how I feel.
Good. I like what you did. I like what you did this week by having the Kings and the Knights together, which I never dawned on me. Like since they've been around these 6 years, I'm like, oh yeah, you got the Kings and the Knights. Will there ever be a Queens?
I mean, if you want to get technical, I think of the Kings as Queens.
I mean,
I hate.
Yeah.
I mean, is it sad to say the first spot I thought of for the Queens would be San Francisco? But yeah, I know. Okay, I'll admit that one was a little too far. My bad.
Mute yourself for 2 minutes. You're in the box.
All right, that's my fault. I'll give myself the penalty on that one.
I respect the attempt at humor because the world needs levity, but
yeah, well, he's muted. Don't you worry about that.
I think you can always say the New York Mets do their best example of a team from Queens. So
I mean, they used to play in Queens, so that works out.
Yeah, pretty much so. But when it comes to so you were saying, Brian, next week you want to target the Canadian teams?
That's what I'm thinking. We'll target all three Canadian teams at once, and then we'll head back down to the U.S. and cover the final three.
Nice.
All right, then. So with that being said,
hey, I muted you.
Well, I was about to transition us off to the third period. If you want to stay on the Kings, we can stay here. I mean, as a Ducks fan, I'm sure you love talking about the LA.
Shut up. Ain't nobody talking to you.
That was the quickest 2 minutes I've ever seen.
Listen, you give the ref a few hundreds and they let you out of the box a little quicker than they should. So that's just how it works. Anyway.
For me, it's just an abuse of power at this point.
Yes.
So I can cut everybody off.
Thrashers Forever fan saying the Quebec Queens. El Nordic saying no bad. And then also he says, how about the Portland Queens? And then Broska saying Thrashers Forever fan, Thrashers are coming back. I don't know about that one, brother. That's a little bit of a wishful thinking on that one. I know Atlanta wants I know they built a new arena and apparently they want an NHL team there. And I think the NHL is probably thinking like, why? Why would we subject ourselves to that for a third time? So with that, moving on.
I'm thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Hey, where you at?
So moving on from that, we will go to the Ducks. So we will go visit the pond, but before we do that, I do believe, Bri, that we should take a commercial break before we jump over to the pond. No, we're not going to take a commercial break. Okay, we're not going to take a commercial break. No, okay, so no commercial break there, so we'll just go to the read for the third period then. Yep. Apologies there.
Yeah, we're in transition here with some things here. So, I don't know if you saw, and I probably shouldn't talk about this on here, but in case you didn't see, Andy's the new sponsor. We're not doing yet.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're also not doing Philly sports trips either. So
okay. So we'll ixnay that. All right, so ixnay that, and we'll move on here to the third period read for Fan Up. So Fan Up, which is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. They have daily NBA, MLB, NFL, as well as NHL contests and more. And if you can win great prizes if you sign up today and you use the promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, which would regularly be $50. But guess what? You don't have to worry about paying $50 if you just sign in with the A2D code. You get that 5,000 bonus points for free. Who doesn't love free shit? I love free shit. I don't know about you guys. You guys like free stuff?
What it is.
Oh, okay.
What it is. That I will take in a heartbeat.
Right.
Especially with football season right around the corner.
Right, absolutely. So all you got to do is go to fanup.app, download it, and next thing you know, you're making some money on that side hustle. You can do what Rob does, not necessarily the poker thing, but you can do the fantasy sports thing. The poker thing, you're either you got it or you don't. And apparently Rob's got it from what we've been told. So anyway, so as we move forward to the third period, we will discuss the Anaheim Duckies, the beloved team of...
Hey, put some respect on that. Don't be saying Duckies.
So the Anaheim Duckies, and playing in the former Arrowhead Pond, which is a shame it's not called that anymore, at the Honda Center.
Call it that.
It should still be called the Pond, though, because it is a great name. But the Ducks, last year, obviously, not the greatest year in the history of the franchise. Mike O'Dan is one of the more infamous ones. But with that being said, with the changing of regimes, hopefully a better direction is about to pop up on the horizon for them. So, Mr. Daly, how do you feel about your Ducks? Do you think they'll be swimming a lot better here in this particular season, or are they still going to have a little bit of trouble holding water here? Are you worried that they might drown?
I think they're going to drown, and I kind of want them to drown one more year and get a good draft pick here and really solidify the young core that is with Leo Carlson and Trevor Zegras and Jamie Drysdale and all them. Couple concerns of mine is the fact that I know Zegras isn't signed yet, and I know why, because they're still working on term. I believe Jamie Drysdale has not been signed yet either, and that worries me. We still have 16 mil under the cap, and we need to get these guys signed. Drysdale still needs to be signed as well. Yeah, so they're both RFA, so those deals need to get done. I did like what Pat Verbeek did this offseason, bringing in Alex Killorn and Radko Gudas, guys who have either won a cup or have recently been to a cup, and you get both out of Killorn. So for that, I'm incredibly grateful, and I'm excited for, because that should help. That kind of experience should help with these young guys in the locker room for sure. Gudas has been a really good, important defenseman. Still, playing a physical game, but on the other side, he's playing a disciplined game as well. So he's not as much of a liability as he was in Philly. So he's matured a bit. But outside of that, I don't really think this team takes a huge step forward. They brought in a head coach who is, really good at developing young players, but he's not an NHL level coach. So that to me is screaming top 5 pick again this year. Another big question mark for this team is, what's the future of Jonathan Gibson? He's not going to be a Duck much longer. I know that he's absolutely going to go to he's going to go somewhere. I know a lot of people saying Toronto and I know Brad Ryer, who hopefully he's enjoying his anniversary with his beautiful wife. It says Carolina. Gibson is on his way out, but bottom feeder, rebuilding team. Get as low as you possibly can. I would love to see him get the number 1 this year, but I don't think that's going to happen. But if this team can find a way to a top 5 pick, I'm going to be incredibly happy. So there's not really a whole lot to really go over with this team, but just top 5 pick. Let's go.
Well, Prism saying Zegras should get the same extension that Cole Caulfield got.
Yeah, but I think the Ducks want him on an 8-year deal, but he wants 6.
Interesting. Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, the financials are done. Like the money they've agreed on, it's probably going to be somewhere. I would probably say about a $7 or $7.5 million a year cap hit.
Right.
But its term is what's holding up this deal.
So he wants the 3 years, and the Ducks want the longer side of it. It's interesting. I feel like Cole is kind of like, I don't I'm not saying this is going to happen. I feel like he's kind of saying, well, what if this rebuild goes to shit? I kind of want to keep my options open and be able to get the hell out of here as fast as humanly possible. I hate to say that that's what he's thinking. I don't want to say that's what he's thinking, but I have a weird feeling that that's why he's doing this, but that's just me.
I wish. Not yet, Joey. It's good to hear from you, buddy.
What's going on, Joey? Me Metal Mike Gibson to Carolina. I know there was talk about him going to Carolina at one point, but that fell through. There was talk about him going to Pittsburgh. That clearly fell through because Carlson's now in Pittsburgh. So, and no, I don't think Gibson's going to Pittsburgh now that Carlson's over there.
They signed Jari too.
Yes. And
yeah, they gave Jari a nice contract. I mean, he deserved it after the last 2 years, but for me, I mean, you got to worry about two players here. It's not just you're not worried about Trevor Zegras here, so you're worrying about Jamie Drysdale as well. So you can't really throw too much money in too many years at him because you still have to worry about the other guy that you got to get re-signed to as well. And I've heard nothing on Jamie Drysdale yet as far as what kind of the contract, what it would look like, potential years, anything like that. And that alone worries me, but I know Verbeek is going to get it done. I have faith in him. Despite the fact that he didn't take Adam Fantilli number 2, but I'm not unhappy with it. I like Leo Carlson. I think he's going to be a good center, but let's get Zegras and let's get Drysdale signed before camp starts up here in a few weeks. It's making me a little antsy. I'm not going to lie. But these guys are very important to the core, very important to the future, very important to the rebuild. So it has to get done.
Well, Brian, we talked about Connor Bedard getting run right from the get-go. Does Leo Carlson qualify? Can we possibly see him right from the get-go in Anaheim?
So from what I understand, the plan is to give him 9 games. So they will see what he does for the first 9 games of the season, and then whether or not he's going to go back to juniors or not.
Gotcha. No, that's good. They'll test the waters. If he runs with it as a high, then the career begins. If not, okay, He got his inaugural season with the Ducks being drafted. Now go develop, kid. Yeah. I mean, the reason why I asked this is that because the Ducks are in a very similar boat with the Flyers. That the difference for them between 6th and last is what they get from their bottom 6 players, what you get from a Frank Vaccano, what you get from a Jonathan Silverberg, and potentially a Leo Carlson if he can, perform at this level and stay up and just continue to shine and be that high draft pick that you earned from last year, then having an Alex Killorn to lead the way, added to, a top line of Zegras, Henrique, and Troy Terry, you could see this team being a little dangerous and doing some things.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I'm saying we got to get these deals done soon. Fortunately, Silverberg's in the last year of his deal, and he's going to go play over in Europe. So bye, Jack. I love Frank Vatrano. I thought he was a great signing. He's going to be a huge part of this team's success, and I loved him on the penalty kill last year. I thought he did a really good job. But it's for me, it's development. It's development of these young guys. These guys got to take the next step. The defense worried me last year, and they're kind of my issue this year. I like the signing of Gudas. I think he's going to bring some stability. But if we're looking at the roster right now, we're looking at Cam Fowler, Radko Gudas, probably on your first one. Drysdale, probably Ilya Lyubushkin, who they just acquired earlier this week on your second pairing. And I did like that trade. Mm-hmm. He's on a 1-year deal. So that's probably going to be your second, and probably Robert Haig and Colton White on your third pairing for right now. This is kind of what it's looking like. Or it's going to be Jackson Lacombe, who just signed his ELC, we signed it 2 years ago? Oh, interesting. Okay. So apparently Jackson Lacombe has an opportunity. He'll be on the training camp roster to make the roster as a 22-year-old defenseman. So, I mean, we'll see what's going on. But this defense has a lot of bright spots, but the bright spots aren't quite ready to come up yet.
Got you.
So, do you see Anaheim sitting in last place?
Well, I thought they were going to push for a playoff spot last year, so this year I'm going to say yes. I see them in last place. It's a tough division, the Pacific Division now. It's getting to the point where almost every team is competitive, minus like 3 teams. I mean, you have to worry about Vegas, LA, Seattle. That's probably going to be your top 3. Then you got Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, and Anaheim. And I'm blank. Who am I forgetting? Oh, San Jose. And I thought San Jose had a fairly good offseason.
They had a solid enough offseason, but they're still going to probably be last. I'd be shocked if they're not, or at least second to last.
Well, that's rude, Anthony. I don't like that.
I said Gibson should go to Phoenix so his career could die. It'd be funny if he goes to Arizona and Austin Matthews goes to Arizona. Be like, well, shit, they snuck into the playoffs because Gibson's stealing games and Matthews is scoring 100 goals. So here we go.
That's what they do. Gibson goes there. Matthews goes there. All of a sudden they get good, right? Jeremy Roenick's back at home. He's not working for NBC Sports. He comes out of retirement at 50-something years of age, pops 22 goals for them. They go on and win a cup. In your face, Toronto. In your face.
That's funny. That would be funny if that happened.
Oh my god! But here's the ultimate thing: they beat Toronto in the finals to win that cup too, and just to teabag the shit out of them even further. Be like, ha! Look at you, Toronto! You still ain't won shit since '67.
Oh, it's Roenick. Roenick, 53 years old, comes out of retirement, Gordie Howe style.
Not gonna lie, would be very happy for him.
But I mean, the goaltending
in your face,
situation,
Catherine Tappan. In your face.
I mean, I would.
I mean,
I would. Who wouldn't? If you don't, I question a lot of things.
I mean, hey, listen, you know.
Hey, no comment. I don't find other women attractive. No.
Blink twice if she's sitting right next to you.
If you are under duress.
I'm just teasing.
I'll text you later, Rob, see if you're all right.
But yeah, just to jump back on the Ducks here real quick, the goaltending situation. Obviously, we breaking in the Gibson thing, he wants a chance to win again. This team's probably about 2 or 3 years out from competing for a playoff spot again. Best bet is to move on from him while he's still in his prime. And Dostal's probably not going to make the roster out of camp, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So you let Dostal start the season in San Diego, let him season up a little bit more. You bring in Alex Stalock to play backup, keep him as a backup, and then you let Dostal take over at the trade deadline when you move on from Gibson, and you just let the future ride out, and hopefully you're riding this way when the trade deadline comes, and then after the trade deadline, it's just pretty much straight down. So, like I said, I would love to see Anaheim get a top 5 pick in this upcoming draft. There's a couple good players in there, so I would love to see him land one more. So,
all right then. So with that, that's Anaheim right there for you. Nolan Patrick gets his career revive and scores 100 goals in Phoenix. I would not be happy about that. Absolutely would be pissed off if that happened.
All right, we're slowly slipping into National Enquirer sports news. You know what I mean? Things that are never, ever going to happen, like Bigfoot, being found.
See, you say that now, Rob. Then tomorrow I'll be like, Bigfoot discovered. Be like, oh shit. Why did I do this?
Pacific Northwest. It's like where everybody saw it. Damn
it. But didn't they say something about the government admitting that there were aliens? So, I mean, anything's possible.
That's true, actually.
I'm not saying they were aliens, but I'm pretty sure they were aliens.
I mean, I'm going to go out and say it. I'm going to say it because... all right, so we're gonna have this discussion right now. Quick.
Here we go. We're gonna do this. Okay, here we go.
Think of it this way.
Wait. Pause. Everybody, get your popcorn and sit down and relax. Let's hear it.
Okay. think of it this way. There's hundreds of billions of galaxies in this universe. Hundreds of billions. You really think we're that special to be the only life in any of those galaxies? Because I don't. I watch too much social media reels to know that there's nothing special about us at all. We're dumb as fuck as a species. We are stupid. There's some really smart people out there, and my hat's off to them because you took advantage of your intelligence. But there's some stupid people. The reason why we don't get alien visits is because they see how stupid we are and they don't come here. It's like that episode of South Park.
Listen, stop talking about NRA members so negatively.
It's like if I got you correctly, it's kind of like we're some aliens ant farm, and I finally got the meaning of that band's name now.
We could be. I mean, it's like that one episode of South Park. You know what I mean? They had the alien come by and they took all the space cash and they proved that they weren't ready. We're not ready. We're not ready. We can't accept what may or may not be, which I'm very much towards what may be. I mean, think about it. There's way too many galaxies for it to be just us. We're not that special.
Well, Anthony says that you're watching too much Star Wars and Spaceballs. I'm going to say more on the Spaceballs than the Star Wars.
Spaceballs? Oh, shit. There goes the planet.
Best ending ever.
First of all, both movies fantastic.
They are.
Wait, but this has nothing to do with Star Wars or Spaceballs.
Hot. Too hot. I think I could be here all night.
I hate yogurt, even with strawberries.
What exactly do you do here? Merchandising. Huh? Merchandising. Spaceballs to breakfast cereal. Spaceballs to toilet paper. Spaceballs to flamethrower. The kids love this one. Spaceballs to doll. Me. Baby Schwartz, be with you. Adorable.
Oh man, it's funnier if you know the backstory of why they have that in the film too, which is even better. So
I could quote that entire movie for line. People don't like watching that movie with me because I get annoying.
Because
they told us to comb the desert, so we're combing the desert. What did you find? We ain't found shit.
The ship
I'm
is so.
with you, Brian. I annoy people too.
I love that movie.
You can do the same thing too. It'd be like, I had to run. Ship's so big. If I walk, the movie would be over.
Oh, that's a great line. Yeah. That's a fabulous line.
Spaceballs to cassette. Wait, what do you mean? We're still in the middle of making it.
Everybody got that?
Yeah, right. I love that. They say the planet turns. He's like, everybody got that?
Oh, let's see here. Prism saying, have the Flyers LTIR Ryan Ellis yet? If not, seems like the perfect trade chip to get out of Tampa. So Tampa is in the market of making some bad decisions. So, I mean, hey, you know what? Wouldn't mind giving them a ring. Like, hey, we got this bridge we'd like to sell you, and we have this beautiful Ryan Ellis contract if you'd like it. So
he is. He's on there. They have, it looks like almost $10 million on the LTIR. So it's Ryan Ellis and somebody else.
Yeah, let's be on it.
Oh, it's just Ryan Ellis, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so Ryan Ellis is on the LTIR.
Makes total sense why he would be there. So, I mean, the dude is pretty much done when it comes to actually putting on skates and playing hockey. So,
yeah, something really bad in his back.
Oof, that's a shame.
Odds are he's not playing again.
That's a shame. Anthony's, he was saying, Daly, you're still watching too much Star Wars and Spaceballs.
No such thing.
Swoopy saying several questions. Is Morgan Frost ever going to sign? Why the holdup and concerns? Also, will Joel Farabee be back to full recovery from neck injury and rebound and be a core piece to the Flyers in the future? Well,
I can answer the second one.
Go ahead.
Yes. I think we as a team saw that last year towards the end of the year that Joel Farabee was starting to really find his stride and start to show that he was really starting to get back into being the player that he was before, went on a nice little point streak towards the end of the year. And I think we're going to see a little bit more of that. As he gets healthier, you're going to see his game get better. He's 22 years old. He still has a little bit to do before he hits his prime. He still has a little developing left, but I think we see Joel Farabee take a massive step forward this year. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I'll let you guys cover Morgan Frost.
I mean, Frosty, I mean, you know, it's tough because you come into a situation where, you know, you've already made some re-signings, you have some contracts that you have now, but also on top of it with the market and the demand, that's what makes it the problem. You know, it's like, can the Flyers meet what the demand is? You know, that's really where the issue is coming into with Frosty. You know, do I think Frosty wants the world? No. But do I think the Flyers, do I think they have a little bit of an issue in terms of salary cap? I think that's where the real issue is. I think that's where the concerns are for them in terms of length and how much.
Right. Exactly. And he's going to hold out, you know, till putting the heat on that side until the camp start, and they'll work something out eventually because he's that restricted free agent. And, you know, really, you know, if for a team were, you know, to offer more money, you know what I mean, it would cost that team too much. You know what I mean? So it's going to limit his options, you know, especially a guy that, let's face facts, you know, he's shown glimpses of superstardom. He's shown other times being a solid player, and other times he a lot below average on this level, meaning like maybe the skills aren't translating. Maybe, you know, that 5'11" frame, you know, it's just a little too light at 170 pounds to make it at this level. So I just think that this is something that maybe he comes in the camp a little bit late. But the good thing is that, you know, this team once again is going to be pretty deep at center, you know, getting, you know, Sean Couturier back. But you have, you know, a couple different options there, you know, namely also Tyson Forrester, who can play that position.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's tough, you know. I mean, I hope the Flyers can come to an agreement with Frosty, but at the same time, it's tough when somebody's playing hardball. You know, like I said, though, I don't think Frosty's winning the world, but at the same time, I think the Flyers they want to be careful because they know that they're trying to rebuild and they're trying to keep some key players. Not to say Frosty ain't a key player, he is. It's just that you got to play careful here at this stage.
You do. But I mean, there's other guy. I mean, they can move on. You know, you got some depth play. You got Ryan Poling, who they brought in. You know what I mean, during this offseason. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that's a guy that's going to, you know, equal, you know, the upside that a Morgan Frost could have, but that could be a guy that, you know, you do have a current contract with that, you know, can play, you know, center ice. You got Tanner Lazinski, you know, same deal. So, I mean, you know, it gets to a point, you know, when you have, you know, Scotty Lawton, Sean Couturier, Noah Cates, you know, there's a lot of different options there. So it would behoove, you know, them to come to a deal sooner than later so it doesn't delay his development, put him behind, you know, in terms of training camp, because then you're sort of almost married to, you know, all right, you signed him, so you got to have him in that opening night lineup, but yet he's behind the eight ball in terms of, you know, if he, you know, I'm sure he's working on his own conditioning on the side in the meantime if he's not inked up, but just the flow with the team, and it's different.
Right. But again, the Flyers could use that as a bargaining chip of saying, hey, listen, you know, we have alternatives. You're not the only guy who wants your spot. You know, it is your spot, but just remember there are other guys who want it. So you can use that if Frosty wants to play hardball, they could come back with that and say, hey, listen, you know, we got alternatives. So you may not be as, they may not say it that way, but you get my point. They might creatively say, hey, listen, it's not exactly like we don't want to lose you, but at the same time, it's not exactly like we will be destroyed if we lose you.
Right.
You know, so.
Right.
But that's a fine line to walk when you start playing that game.
Sure. And in regard to the Farabee question about Rosupi, I answered it earlier. Yeah, I do. I think he's going to need time to recover. From the neck injury, but more so the confidence has to recover too. Because it's been taking a large blow. But we've seen what this kid can do when he's got the mojo and he's got the confidence, and he's young enough to where you be patient with the Farabee. I think you really do, to a point where, at the very least, he can give you solid bottom 6 minutes, you know what I mean, until he does pan out.
Mm-hmm. And you said it too, man, like that confidence is going to be key for him moving forward because, like I said, we started to see that a little bit last year, towards the end of the year, that he started to really start putting everything together. And that's huge because the Flyers are going to need him. But, you still got to play a confident game. He's getting healthy, and it's literally a step-by-step, day-by-day process coming back from something like that. And it's the same process that Eichel had. And it took Eichel most of the year to really come back from it and really start to get back to his full game. But once he got back there, he took off. So that's encouraging for I think that's encouraging moving forward for Joel Farabee.
Yeah. Prism saying, so an alien came down, so some hillbilly fuck his cousin, and then later on fucked a goat and put a speed trap alert on their version of Google Maps for other aliens to see and to avoid us. Again, Prism, don't talk about NRA members so negatively. Moving on.
Like somebody's feeling better. Jesus.
Anthony saying, I was watching Alf and he would be a cool hockey fan flipping off the Flyers or cursing at them. I like Alf to be a hockey fan. You know what?
Yeah.
We need to make that a thing. We need to have Alf in a Flyers jersey somewhere down the line.
And speaking of animation and characters or whatever, I read in the description too that this is going to be the Ducks' 30th anniversary. Are they doing anything to honor like the Mighty Ducks this season, like jersey wise, event wise, or anything like that?
So they did put out their ice is ready to go. It's a really cool logo of the 30th anniversary where one side is Mighty Ducks fly together, and then the other side says Anaheim Ducks fly together, and it's each logo on each side, which is pretty cool. And then they're doing a 30th anniversary jersey, which looks like hot trash.
Well, that's good to know that they at least fucked it up. So
the jersey itself could be okay. You can salvage the jersey, but the logo I don't like. Essentially, the logo became the logo for that was essentially the shoulder patch from when they were still the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. So essentially they enlarged it and put it on the chest instead of just taking the Mighty Ducks logo.
So it was the Rundell where they had the Ducks mask in the middle, the hockey sticks, and then Anaheim written at the top and Ducks at the bottom?
Nope.
Yeah,
I'm going to pull it up for y'all real quick.
Cool.
Just give me one.
I was just curious though, because hey, at least the effort's there. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's I know they sort of moved on for that imagery, you know what I mean? Like felt like being taken more seriously, but I don't know. To me, I never had an issue with that. I always thought that was a really cool element.
Oh, that's just one thing they do really, really well. So, all right. So courtesy of Google and I don't know who's selling this jersey, but that's what the jersey is going to look like.
Ooh, that looks like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
Like I said, the jersey itself is okay. I love the lettering on it, but that got logos.
Yeah, that's a bad. Yeah, I don't know what they were fucking thinking with that one. Yeah, I hate to break this to you, Bride. They fucked up.
Hey, listen, I still got my 25th anniversary jersey. I'm good. I'm
Gucci. Why not just have the hockey mask for the Duck like that? Like it's simple. Yeah, like that to me, I think it's one of the coolest logos in all of sports.
I think it was to symbolize a little bit more of the combination of the two eras, and I think that's what they felt was the best way to go.
Fair enough. I get that logic.
All right, so let's see here. Typical Canucks dork. Want to see a Canuck have a campfire while Vancouver burns because we lose another cup game 7 against the Flyers. You know what the funny part about that? What were you gonna say, Rob?
I said fired up.
Right. But here's the funny part, though. That would be historical. You want to know why? Because if the Flyers win the Stanley Cup and the Canucks lose another Stanley Cup Finals, not only is Vancouver burning because of riots and people going crazy because the Canucks have lost 5 Stanley Cup Finals, or I'm sorry, 4, but Philadelphia would be burning because the Flyers won the Stanley Cup. So it'd be synchronized city burnings right there on the spot for 2 opposite total reasons. You'd be like, you know what? I kind of want to see it. I'm totally here for it. You'd be like, hey, Philly just burnt down. I was like, yeah, no shit. The Flyers just won the cup. Of course, Philadelphia burnt the fuck down. Maybe that's why the Phillies didn't win last year in the World Series. They were afraid that the city would burn down. So that's why.
I mean,
Good possibility.
They were putting grease all over the light pole, so maybe I got a part of it too.
Yeah, maybe.
They were still getting up there though.
Yeah.
It didn't stop greased up deaf guy.
It did not. It did not.
What's up, Me Metal Mike?
What's up, Mike?
All right, so let's see. Was there anything else we wanted to talk about for the Ducks before we transition to the shootout?
I did have a bit of NHL news before we transition to the shootout, but last thoughts on the Ducks, Bri?
I'm good. I want to hear from you guys.
I caught this earlier today as a big signing for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Brandon Hagel signed an 8-year, $52 million contract where the deal will run through the 2031-32 season. And this is a year, coming off a year where the forward had a career high in goals, assists, and points last season. So homie getting paid, average value $6.5 million for the 24-year-old forward.
Where's Tampa Bay finding all this fucking money?
Right?
They must be finding it under the couch cushions. I mean, who knows? Maybe they have. You know how they say, like, old people who get a lot of money when they retire, they move down to Florida. Maybe Tampa eased in on that turf, and they're just they're getting some of that old people money. Maybe.
Just remember this, boys. You don't pay income tax in Florida, so you got a little extra loot.
This is true.
SJM,
What's up,
brother?
What's going on, brother? All right. So with that, we turn our attention to Tampa's Miami in the skies.
Hold on, real quick, because I kind of want to check this out real quick before we do the shootout. Sorry, Maddie. I know we keep putting this off, but they are currently right now with projected cap space minus $7 million. Where is this coming from? Ready? Here you go. Nikita Kucherov, $9.5 million cap hit. Braden Point, $9.5 million cap hit. Steven Stamkos in the final year of his career, $8.5 million cap hit. Anthony Cirelli, $6.25 million cap hit. They didn't put Hagel in here yet. Oh, there he goes. All right. Brendan Hagel in the final year of his deal, $1.5 million cap hit, $2 million cap hit for Conor Sheary. All right, now let's go to the defenseman. $8.5 million cap hit for Mikhail Sergachev. Victor Hedman, 7.8. 5.2 for Eric Cernak. Where is this fucking money coming from? Andrei Vasilevsky, 9.5. Brent Seabrook, they're paying $6 million for him. They're paying almost $7 million for Brent Seabrook. What the hell is going on right now?
What I find funny is SJM, I think
printing money.
Right. I think SJM hit the nail on the head. He says Tampa is money laundering, using that tourism income to supplement their roster.
Apparently they hired Marty Bird from the Ozarks. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I know, Prince. I realized that after I said it, but that's not helping my point. Actually, it kind of goes against my point, but you know what I mean. They're so much money.
Listen, Prism, stop bringing up logic. Brian's on a roll. Let him have it.
I know it doesn't count against the cap, but the cap is still almost $9 million.
Prism, that's why I made the Ryan Ellis joke.
And they had last year's salary for Hagel there. Now that's up to 6.2. So, something's going to have to happen. They're definitely going to have to move some player or what have you.
Do we see Stamkos in another jersey next year? Maybe
That would be weird as shit to see him in another jersey.
It's another situation where you have a player in the final year of his contract who's making more than what your cap ceiling is right now, which is pretty much minus $7 million. So
yo, this is for Don. Detroit goes all in and grabs Stamkos.
Oh shit!
I like that.
If he goes to Detroit, them fuckers better make the goddamn playoffs. Holy shit!
Keep your eyes from in ties.
Yes, that's a good point. That's you know what? I think Robbie's onto something here. I think he is. Let's see here. Meanwhile, Mike saying Tampa has become the Simpsons of the NHL, and he also says Monty Burns buys the Lightning, and then they go to the Tampa Bay Isotopes.
Seems about right. That seems about right.
All right. So let's go into the shootout, brought to you by Alonzi Travel. Hey, listen, sometimes you just got to get away in life, and you know what? What better place to do it than to go to Alonzi Travel? You don't want to have to go through all the stress and the bullshit of planning the whole thing out and having to figure out, oh my God, what days should we go? What hotels should we go to? Rental car and all that crap that you have to deal with. That's just so much more stress. Alonzi Travel will take care of that stress. You don't have to worry about all that. They have a specialized team in creating the vacation of your dreams to either Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls to. As a matter of fact, both Ritz and Chucks of the A2D fam are a part of that. So call those gentlemen in particular because they are the travel experts and they will create the custom vacation for you. So all you have to do is just pack your bags, wake up, even if you have to wake up at 4 a.m. I still don't understand why some people do that. Wake up at 4 a.m., catch your flight, and go on down to your vacation destination of your dreams. And there you go, all taken care of. Yes, Robbie?
I'll be doing that. Unfortunately, we're taking a 6:50 flight down to Disney this October.
Ooh.
Enjoy it.
Well, I mean, hey, listen,
for real.
I know it's going to be rough getting up, but you know what? It's going to be absolutely worth it once you get there. So you know what? Enjoy that shit, brother.
Yeah, we're being treated well.
Good. All right. So, actually, Tampa will find a way to offload one or two of those contracts to the Flyers for Michkov and Carter Hart. Michkov plays this year, and Hart wins the Vezina. More cups for them, none for us.
No!
If that happened, I might actually.
No.
If that happened, if that happened, you know what? I might actually take a trip over to the Bend, and I might actually not come back. Honestly, if that fucking shit happens,
you got Capper him. Hi.
Daddy, jump in my Camaro, brother. We'll jump off Thelma and Louise style. Peace.
There you go. Hands and everything.
Blaze of glory. Fuck the Flyers.
You don't even hear an explosion. You just hear ping, 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 ping.
They'll have the on the epitaph be like the Flyers traded Carter Hart and Michkov. Let's see here. The Goat and Saber 95 say Stamkos to the Sabres just to mess with Brad's Rangers.
Yeah, I could see that. It matches something that I predicted, but I think this will work out more to mess with the Brad's Rangers, and that's what's his name? Former Blackhawk that played with the Rangers. Jesus, I'm blanking.
Patrick Kane.
Yeah, Patrick Kane. Yeah, he's going to go to his hometown Sabres to help that team win over them. Sorry, I don't even know why I'm still talking right now.
Here you go. This comment is just for you guys.
To annoy Flyers, Rangers, Penguins fans, how about Stamkos and Hedman to the Devils? No. Absolutely not. You cannot have them. You are not allowed, Devils fans. You are not allowed. Absolutely not.
No,
No.
not in the eyes. Not in the eyes.
No, please God, no. Absolutely not.
That's
Listen,
all right, Devils fan. It's all good. Whether you're here at the end or at the beginning, we appreciate you being here.
yes,
Yeah,
all seriousness, we thank you for being here. But in all seriousness, man, for God's sakes, how fucking dare you to throw out Stamkos and Hedman to the Devils? How dare you? We've already been blighted with 3 cups from you guys. The last thing we need is a 4th.
Hey, we got Alex Killorn in Tampa Bay now, or in Anaheim now, so we might actually have a little bit of leverage should Tampa Bay decide they want to move on from Steven Stamkos just to get back to the cap floor.
Well, you know,
we'll take him. We can put him back on the line with Alex Killorn. We're good.
But then at that very moment, Bob Murray gets hired for one last minute just to ixnay the deal.
Shut up. No, don't you put that out there. Shut up. Take that juju elsewhere.
Oh, all right. So let's get into it. The shootout. And we're going to give our all-time top 5s of the Ducks, the Kings, and the Golden Knights. So I think we should start with the Golden Knights, since I'm assuming that one would be the easiest one out of all of them, since the Knights have only been around for so long. The Kings and the Ducks might be an interesting journey. So, gentlemen, who wants to go first? Who wants to give their top 5 in the Golden Knights for their all-time?
I'll go first for the Knights here. Their top 5 all time. And a lot of these names you're going to recognize because they're on the Stanley Cup roster. I'm going to go with number 5. I'm going to go with Max Pacioretty, who had a great career since coming over from the Montreal Canadiens before being traded again to the Carolina Hurricanes. Just shy of a point per game player for the Knights, but you know he's still made an impact. He was still a huge player and a big key to their success. Number 4, we're going to go with Aiden Hill for obvious reasons. Just had a huge Stanley Cup run, got hot at the right time, and they were just amazing. He was just amazing between the pipes, amazing to watch throughout that entire playoff run. Number 3, I'm going to go Alex Pietrangelo. Could easily be the captain of this team, but you know he's a leader on the defense and just a huge name. Such a huge name in St. Louis, and he went to Vegas, and he didn't even miss a step. Number 2, we're going to go with Jonathan Marchessault, a guy who the Florida Panthers gave up on and really just started to really go have a huge, not just a huge season, but a huge career since changing from Florida to Vegas. And, you know, it goes to show you he went on another one who had a tremendous playoff run this past year, won the Conn Smythe for obvious reasons. To me, he was that guy. But at number 1, you got to go Mark Stone, captain of the team, just a huge name. You know, he had those issues in Ottawa with who was it? Was it Eric Carl? Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Matt Hoffman and right. Eric Carlson situation. But you know, Stone coming over, just kind of embracing not just the organization, but the city and the fan base. And you know, to me, it's Mark's, the face of this organization is Mark Stone, and you know, and that's my top 5.
Nice top 5. What's interesting, I thought we'd all have the same guys, and we only share 2 and not in the same order either.
Interesting.
Okay.
By the way, Penguins got Crosby fan. No, you're not allowed to have Hedman and Stamkos either. No, you aren't allowed it at all. Let's see. Fish Sticks Islanders Nerd says, hell no. If anyone in the Metro deserves Hedman and Stamkos and Vasilevsky, it's the Fish Sticks. Do you?
Whoa. You got Ilya Sorokin. I don't want to hear you throwing out Vasilevsky's name out there.
I was going to say, though.
Ed Baskey?
Right. It's like, do you guys, though? Do you really? You got 4 cups. No, you don't get them either. And then, let's see here. I think the Devils are drinking too much Kool-Aid. I will agree. I'll agree to that at least.
what flavor? I might have to join you.
It's probably the punch. Let's see here. Flyers fan 95 saying, hell no, 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 and no. We're taking Hedman and Stamkos and winning the cup and still getting a top draft pick. I'm totally on board with that shit. I don't know how that's possible, but we'll fucking do it. That's how we'll
Florida's
do it.
first. If Florida's going to tank, you got Florida's first. You can still get a top pick.
You're right. You're right. See? You know what you're talking about. Florida will be absolute dog shit. Yeah, right. Good point.
Danny B, make it so, baby. Make it so.
All right, then. So I'll go for my top 5 for the Golden Knights. For me, number 5, I'm going to throw Marc-Andre Fleury in there. Fleury was no small part in them getting to the Stanley Cup Finals their first year in existence. I mean, It was not a well-kept secret that he was going to get taken in the expansion draft. And when he did, he pretty much, showed the world like, yeah, that was a mistake because he managed to get the team to the Stanley Cup Finals. They didn't win, but you know what? He got them there. And that was the very first year that team ever existed. That is pretty fucking impressive. How many goalies can say that?
One other one?
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Yeah. But for number 4 for me, I will say Marchessault. Marchessault, absolutely a heart and soul player for that Golden Knights team. And the fact that Florida just left him out there to be taken in the expansion draft is shocking. I mean, the fact that it just comes back and bites them in the ass last year with them winning the cup over the Florida Panthers, that just has such irony right there. It is unbelievable. But, Marchessault absolutely deserves to be on there. Great player, clutch player, heart and soul kind of guy you definitely would want on your team. Next up on that for me at number 3, I'll put Alex Tuch. I always felt that Alex Tuch had some great games where he would just show up and say, hey, we need a goal, right? I'm like, don't worry about it, guys. I got it. And then he would get it. He'd be like, what the fuck? It's like, you haven't scored in like 5 games, but you scored now when it counted the most? Like, of course you did. Of course you did, Tuch. Of course you did. So, yeah, I'm going to give Alex Tuch that one. He definitely deserves the nod for that. He was a great player for the Golden Knights. And I'm sure there's plenty of Buffalo fans out there, including the Goathead Sabre out there, who would love to see him be clutch for them as they move forward. Next up for me on the list of players for Golden Knights, I'm going to throw out, I will say that, you got to go with, to me, I'm going to go with Wild Bill Karlsson. My God, that guy he's still unbelievable with the way he plays, the way that he can score, his nose for the net, amazing. And then finally, to finish it off, while he may be gone now, he will sorely be missed. Riley Smith, really great player, consistent player, always found a way to score in clutch situations too. Kind of like Tuch. Maybe that's why they were comfortable with letting him go. So I'm going to roll with it at the end of the day and say, you know what, Riley Smith on that one for the all-time Golden Knights players and Bruins Pooh Bear. Dweeb saying, no bad Metro team. We are getting Hedman and Stamkos and winning more cups. No, you're not allowed either. I'm sorry, Bruins fan. Get out of here. You're not allowed to have them. Sorry. I'm happy you're here. Please don't leave. But
they do need them.
Bad. Bad. Can you imagine Stamkos and Pasternak and Marchand on the same line together?
I'm sorry. I had to repress a gag reflux there. No, absolutely. I don't want to imagine that. Please, God, no. Depressed Oilers fan saying, wrong. We get Hedman, Stamkos, and win 3 more cups. Oilers fans, if you actually pulled that off, I would say, you know what? You finally got your head out of your ass and did it. Congratulations. You deserve them then. So, all right. I'm totally fine with that then. Took a minute, but we got there. All right, Rob, you give your top 5.
Well, first, I will tell you this bit of trivia. The other goaltender that took his team in their inaugural season to the Stanley Cup Finals was a 36-year-old Glenn Hall for the St. Louis Blues. in their inaugural season of 67-68. He's a Hall of Famer, mostly with the Chicago Blackhawks, Detroit Red Wings started his career. But yeah, he finished his career with St. Louis in the expansion draft, and there's a Hall of Fame career too. He won 3 Vezinas in his career, but like him and Marc-Andre Fleury, that's a great trivia question that we just uncovered in the show. That's freaking great.
That's nice. I mean, wow. I mean, that's an impressive accomplishment too. But Glenn Hall was an amazing goaltender, of course. He invented the butterfly. So,
Right.
Makes sense. Makes total sense.
For sure. Our list pretty similar, but in reverse order. My number 5, yeah. This is another mind-boggling thing, right?
Okay.
My number 5 all time is an original misfit, salary cap casualty, now Pittsburgh Penguin, Riley Smith, because he's second in goals all time for Vegas Golden Knights, third in points. But I am glad he got a cup with them before heading east. He'll definitely be a problem for the Flyers now.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, big time. Number 4, I got William Karlsson, a strong defensive-minded forward. He has 101 plus-minus career. It surprised me his defensive prowess, but he's certainly been Lady Byng and Selke finalist for that position, and an original misfit as well. Number 3, Mark Stone, 2022 All-Star, 5th in goals and assists on the team all time, and this team is just night and day without him. I talked about that during the playoffs. Number 2, also team is night and day without Jonathan Marchessault. He's the franchise leader in goals, assists, and points. Most games played he is an original misfit, and as you boys pointed out, the current Conn Smythe trophy winner. And even though my number 1 didn't take home a cup, he's definitely a reason why, as Maddie said, the Vegas Golden Knights got to the finals in that inaugural season. And my number 1 all the time is Marc-Andre Fleury. He won the Vezina in 2021 following that season. At the Jennings Award too for fewest goals allowed in that season. So he went on to perform well even after that inaugural year, as well as being an all-star. He had a .928 save percentage as a Vegas Golden Knight. And let's face facts, he was towards the latter part of his career. I wouldn't say the end, because he's still playing and active in that. But after a lot of years in Pittsburgh, coming over to an expansion team and pitching a .928 save percentage, pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
It is, man. Just shows Fleury, one of the best goaltenders of his time. Let's see. And Blackhawks fan, no. I think you guys have got enough cups. And no, you are not winning off of the Flyers twice. Absolutely not. Bye and shame on you, good sir. I lash at you for that.
Wow. Now I'm starting to feel my dislike for the Blackhawks again. I was starting to side with them after years of hatred. Don't turn up bad thoughts, man. Come on.
Right.
We were just getting along for Priz's sake.
Right. Priz is saying, speaking of Jonathan Marchessault, who's the best undrafted player ever? I feel like that's a trick question.
I don't know.
And then Lee's fan says, you guys are crazy. I'll take Stamkos and Hedman and Matthews and win our very first cup. I wouldn't be mad if Ottawa won their first cup. I'd be like, you know what? For all the shit that Ottawa's had to deal with over the last 2 years, you know what? Good for you guys. You actually won something, and you did. And you know what? Hopefully you beat Toronto on the way over, just to shit on them a little bit more. That'd be nice. But anyway, let's see here.
I got an answer. For Prince.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
He's gonna like this answer too. I'm gonna say Eddie the Eagle Belfour. He was not drafted.
He just posted that as you said it. I kid you not.
No way. There it is. Great minds think alike.
So Eddie the Eagle, who would go on.
I think was Nick Backstrom. He wasn't drafted too, right? Was the international signing?
Good question.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm going to look that up while we do that.
Interesting.
Maddie, handle comments. Do something. Help me out here.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
Thrashers Forever fan saying, watching people argue over Stamkos and Hedman while I enjoy my steak. Well, question, how do you take your steak? Do you take it medium rare? Do you like it still mooing? Or do you take it well done? Do you want it at shoe leather level? What are we talking here?
While the chat's being savages, I'm just like Kermit drinking his tea.
I'm waiting to get out of here so I can go make some chicken and rice.
Oh, yeah, sounds good.
And me, Metal Mike, saying, I'm enjoying the Stamkos talk banner grabbing popcorn.
Backstrom was in the 2006 NHL draft, selected 4th overall.
It was selected, okay.
So we continue forward from the Vegas Golden Knights with the top 5s. Now we turn our attention to, I will save the Duckies for last.
Ooh.
We will go. Yes.
I'm sorry. Didn't Brad give you his top 5? Did you want to read them off?
Oh yeah, I got that.
Yeah. I just remembered last minute. Sorry about that, boys.
No, good eye. Good eye. I would have
up.
totally went over that. So.
Okay, so he's got, and this is in no particular order. Oh wow. Okay, he's got Brad Marchessault, Mark Stone, Marc-Andre Fleury, William Karlsson, and Shea Theodore. I think Shea Theodore is a good under the radar top 5.
Yeah,
you know what, he is, and he. I'm happy he got picked by somebody.
Right. That's what made me think of it. I was like, oh yeah, I think he picked Shea. I was like, yeah, Brad's picks. All right, Kings.
All right, Whalers Hockey Soup 3. Us Canes deserve Stamkos and Hedman. Do you though? You guys haven't won a freaking game in the conference finals the last 3 times. Do you deserve that?
I'm just saying they're deserving of that.
No, I don't think so. I was like, no, those are for winners. Damn. I'm just saying.
By the way,
I'm joking.
Mentioned Stamkos and Hedman might be available. It's like a nude chick walking on an all-guy nude beach. You know what I mean?
By the way, Whalers fan, just a heads up, dude. I was living in North Carolina for a little while. Went to round 2. That was my first ever Canes game. Was able to land this. It was actually a really, really good time. If you haven't been to a Canes game or down in Raleigh, strongly suggest it. It's a different atmosphere, different beast.
Didn't you? I think you texted us too because we were doing a show that night. You say, "Hey guys, I don't think I'm going to be on the show because this happened," and then you showed us a text of the ice.
Probably. That sounds like something I would do.
We were like, understood. All right, Kings, let's roll.
Kings, all right. Moving on. So, whether they're wearing purple and gold or wearing black and silver or wearing purple and black during that interesting period where they had those interesting looking jerseys, the Los Angeles Kings, top 5. Who wants to start us off down this little primrose path?
Let's go with Brad's first.
Yeah, okay.
That way we can get him out of the way. That sounded terrible. I didn't mean that how that came off. He went with Wayne Gretzky, Marcel Dion, Luc Robitaille, Jonathan Quick, Drew Doughty, and as an honorable mention, Anze Kopitar.
Put Kopi on there for sure.
Pretty solid. That's a pretty damn solid list right there. Okay, so let's see here as we move forward. I'll go first. I will go at 5, Johnny Quick. At number 4, I will go with Marcel Dion. At number 3, I will throw out Wayne Gretzky just because you kind of have to throw him in there. I feel like you should. Number 4, Luc Robitaille, Lucky Luke. And then at number 1, I'm going to throw out, I'll throw out Anze Kopitar. Not really in order, but still as the top 5 goes, I would say, I kind of got to throw him in there. Even though Gretzky, he had that big period in Edmonton, can't overshadow his time with the Kings because it was a really big time for Gretzky and for hockey in very exotic locations too.
Right.
Yeah, he really built that organization and made that organization relevant when he got over there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, he did a significant amount. I'll break it down to my list here. I'll jump in and start off with my number 5. Maybe none of you have this guy on there, but it's one of my favorite defensemen of all time, and that's Rob Blake. Hall of Famer. Okay. Yeah, Hall of Famer, 97-98 Norris Trophy winner. Second all-time in career points for a Kings defenseman with 494. Now, you could give the edge to number 1 on that list with Drew Doughty, but I'm not. It's Robbie Blake all day. Number 4, Jonathan Quick, 2-time Stanley Cup champ, 2 times Jennings Trophy winner, 11-12 Conn Smythe winner, with Kings taking down that the first of 2 cups, the Kings all-time wins leader, and he just rose his game to another level come playoff time in his heyday there with the Kings. Just a dynamite playoff goaltender. Number 3 is where I have Marcel Dion, another Hall of Famer, Los Angeles Kings all-time points and assists leader. He was just such a great playmaker. That's why the assists really piled up for the 1979-80 Art Ross Trophy winner. And he's one of 2 Kings players with 500 goals, so he could still light the lamp too out there in LA. Now, my number 2, funny enough, he's not the all-time king in terms of, he's not that other 500 goal scorer to accompany Marcel Dion, but Wayne Gretzky potted a few while he's here with LA. Is the 88-89 Hart Trophy winner, the Kings all-time points per game leader. With the Kings, he had a 1.70 goals against, points per game. It's just unbelievable. That's why they call him the great one, right?
Geez, people would murder for that. Good Lord.
Right. And he's just doing this, not in the they're certainly still in his prime, but 1.7. He's 3-time Art Ross trophy winner with LA. And he just continued the dominance from Edmonton with 918 points. A career for some people, merely a blip for the Grape One in LA.
Jesus. And to think that there are people who, a blip, and there are people who actually ignore his time in LA if you want to be snotty. But it's just like, God damn.
I didn't realize it was 918 points. I was like,
good.
GD.
It's only 918. That's easy to get, like, jeez.
Right. And now, a lot of people surprised. I listed a couple of your guys' top, in number 1 LA Kings, but for me, my number 1 is my favorite King of all time. That's Luc Robitaille. He's the other 500 goal scorer with Marcel Dion. He leads the Kings all time with specifically 557 goals. He won the Calder Trophy in 86-87, and he was an 8-time All-Star and Hall of Famer for the Kings.
Makes sense. I mean, hell, before Gretzky got there, it was Luc Robitaille's team. So, made total sense.
And it was when he left, too.
Right.
And it was when he left, too. So a couple comments before I read mine off here. We got Leafs fans saying number 5, he's got Wayne Simmons. Number 4, Roman Cechmanek. Number 3, he's got Drew Doughty, 2, Kopitar, and 1, Jonathan Quick. I don't know if
I feel like you're trolling us with the Roman Cechmanek one. Like, that's...
I don't think so, because he threw in the top ones. I think this is just his favorite.
Oh, that's fine. This is what these lists are all about, and why we want everybody to chime in with us and give us their top 5s, because everybody's got a different sense of what a top 5 is. Is it top 5 all time? Is it top 5 your top 5 favorites? Or
if it's your favorite, okay. But if you're gonna say top 5 all time, be like, yeah, like what? Cechmanek, I don't even think he made a season out of LA. It's like, but anyway,
the guy who created he did have a killer mask, though. I will say that his mask was pretty badass.
You're not wrong, but
I will. Priz has dropped his top 5 here. He's got Quick at 5, Luke at 4, Dion at 3, Kopitar at 2, and how do you put that scumbag at number 1?
Dustin Brown.
Terrible. Hot take.
Priz, I love you, but he's a fucking scumbag.
Contrarian.
No. Mine was favorite. So his favorite King of all time is Dustin Brown.
Priz, that hurts. That hurts my heart. Mike saying Gretzky wore the LA Kings' worst jersey, the burger. Yeah,
Yeah, that was a bad one.
that was a horrific jersey.
Whew.
And
Say
then-
Teddy. But
What's
they
up, Teddy?
What's up, Ted? Saying, but they didn't get over the hump until Richards and Carter came. Richards and Carter did have a strong effect on that team. I can't deny that.
There's some honorable mentions for top. I mean, they definitely had, good, time, tenure with the Kings. I can't say career with the Kings, you know what I mean? But a tenure with the Kings.
Yeah, I mean, Pris saying he's getting a statue. Is he really? Please tell me that's an actual thing.
I hope not. I hope not. Never going to the Staples Center or Crypto.com Arena, whatever the hell it's called now.
It's a shame DB's here because he'd be able to tell us if that's true or not.
All right.
Is that with or without him giving the two-hander to the ribs?
Or is that with or without him giving a knee to a Arizona Coyotes player?
Well, that's okay.
Multiple.
That's okay because Mike Smith literally took his paddle and he damn near broke Dustin Brown's leg the one time he came across his crease. So
Every bit of that. Fuck Dustin Brown. He's shit. All right, so Mean Metal Mike saying my favorites are Wayne Simmons, Jeff Carter, Mike Richards, Jonathan Quick, Drew Doughty, Kopitar. Here's the guy though for the Kings, and I that's a hard one not to. Well, here's the funny part though. Here's the funny part. Wayne Simmons didn't have much of a career with LA.
I think he was only there for 2-3 seasons before he came to Philadelphia.
Max.
Yeah, I think they only had one playoff run with him out there. And then after that, he came to Philly shortly after that. But Ted's saying wins with the 199. Thank you, Ted. Says wins the cup first Bedard or Michkov.
Damn it. He's got one.
He's got it's got to be Bedard. The Flyers aren't going to win a cup while I'm alive.
Oh.
No, you know what?
Sorry, it's just not going to happen. I'm a mush.
I'm done. I'm not doing it. Fuck it. Bedard doesn't win shit. Michkov goes on to win a couple of cups with the fucking Flyers. That's what's going to fucking happen. Bedard's going to fucking twiddle his dick out there and wherever the fuck he's at, and he's not going to win shit. That's what's going to happen. He'll put up great points, have an amazing career, doesn't win shit. Everybody's going to be like, oh, the great one that never won anything? That's if Connor McDavid doesn't win anything. But still.
I want the parade. Give me what I want.
Yes.
Give me what I want.
I just won one, goddammit. Just a girl with a dream. Just a girl with a dream here. Just won a Stanley Cup. That's all.
Yeah, so Dustin Brown does have a statue already in Crypto.com Arena. So
needless to say, will you be taking a trip to LA to Crypto.com Arena? Hear me out. To leave a residual effigy on that statue, maybe a piss stain or two. Possibly on that Dustin Brown statue.
It's not going to be worth the fine and having to go to the police station and getting arrested. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. I will just continue to hate the man. All right. So
maybe you could do elementary school. Put some gum on it or something. But anyway, go ahead.
Nah, my top 5. So I do have a couple. I do have a couple honorable mentions I'm going to throw out there first. Obviously, you got Luc Robitaille, Marcel Dion, and Dustin Brown. As much as I hate the fucking guy, he's a huge part in the success of that organization, especially through that stretch where they kept going to the Stanley Cup and winning 2 and being good. So number 5, I got Drew Doughty for obvious reasons. Staple of that Kings defense. Jonathan Quick. For every reason that Rob said earlier, he's the best goaltender in LA Kings history. Number 3, Rob, you're going to be proud of me here, buddy. I went Rob Blake. Number 2, these guys are 2 of the best guys to ever wear Kings uniforms, and that's Anze Kopitar. And then number 1, I have Wayne Gretzky.
It's hard to argue against it, isn't it? I mean, they call him the Great One. There's a reason for it. Mm-hmm. So, Fantilli or Mitchkov first cup? Mitchkov. Get that out of here, me metal Mike. It's Mitchkov all the way.
Actually, I do kind of agree with that one because Fantilli's stuck in Columbus, and that they're not really going to go anywhere anytime soon. All right, Anaheim, let's do this.
All right, so on to the Duckies.
We gotta go.
We begin with, I'll go first. So at number 5 for me, or do you want to put Brad's list out first?
I mean, let's do Brad's list first, so
Okay.
we can get his done, and we don't forget him again.
All right.
All right. So again, no particular order. He went with Paul Correa, Scott Niedermayer, Ryan Getzlaf, Corey Perry, and Teemu Selanne.
Interesting. So at number 5 for me, I'm going to throw Ryan Getzlaf. That number 4, I said Getzlaf like I'm a fucking noob. Getzlaf. Anyway,
Noob. You suck. I'm just kidding.
Whoever you are, don't ever go and say Getzlaf. You'll look like a fucking ass. But anyway, number 4.
I'll probably say it later.
And the tease is out.
Let's see. Number 4, I will roll with J.S. Jaguar, only the goaltender that won a Stanley Cup for the team. At number 3, I'm going to go with, I know he only played, I think he only played 1 year with the Ducks. I could be wrong. He might have played 2. I'll go with Scott Niedermayer. I know he didn't play very long with the Ducks, but still he did win a cup.
Played a good amount.
Okay.
Played a good amount.
All right.
Enough to have his number retired.
Well, okay. So, all right, good. Then he belongs there. Next up, Paul Correa. And where was that? I was at 4, right? Yeah, okay. So I got one more. And my final spot for the Ducks, Teemu Selanne. That's, to me, like when I think of the Ducks, those are 5 of the guys I think of. And I still, to this day, think of seeing Scott Niedermayer with his beard and the gray in it, and he's holding up the cup. I was like, Jesus, God, you got old. But anyway.
You know what the beautiful part about that was? Watching him pass it to his brother, Rob.
And Rob's an underrated player. Rob may not be like an all-star caliber player necessarily, but he was a damn good, solid, like depth player for his time, you know?
Especially at that point.
Yeah. All right, then. So that's mine. Who wants to go? Oh, well, I think, you know what? I think Rob should go because I think we should leave Bry for last.
We certainly should. Certainly should say cap off with his quack Ducks. Number 5 for me, J.S. Jaguar. Not only the Stanley Cup champion, but being the 03 Conn Smythe Trophy winner for the non-Cup team, the last to do so. Ducks all-time shutout leader as well with 32. Number 4, Paul Correa, Hall of Famer, Ducks' first ever draft pick in 93. All-time leader in goals per game played at 0.50 and points per game played at 1.10. You know, we said that we're giving praise to Gretzky's 1.7. Well, Correa was at a 1.1, still a point per game player. Just a great opening face for Anaheim and really just a face of that franchise as they were kicking off their inaugural seasons there in Anaheim. Number 3 for me, I'm putting Corey Perry, man. I mean, just a good leader for this team. Another Stanley Cup champion there in 07, the Hart Trophy winner in 2010-11, and he's the Ducks' all-time leader in penalty minutes with 1,110. You know, a guy could score, and the guy could get rough in front of the net and do the dirty work that needs to be done to win in the playoffs. It's a reason why he keeps on being acquired by teams that want to go on runs. Yeah, absolutely. Number 2, Ryan Getzlaf. Yes.
You got it right. You got Getzlaf. You did it right. You didn't say Getzlaf.
Yes. Love. 2000 Stanley Cup champ, the captain, Ducks all-time leader in games played and points. And number 1, Teemu Selanne, Hall of Famer, 2000 Stanley Cup champ as well. You know, but you got to love the story of him leaving and then coming back to help them win it and finding, he had lost that scoring touch that was prolific with Winnipeg. And then, obviously getting traded over to Anaheim and coming back. And did he score like near 40 goals, if not 40 goals for that team?
Which year? The Stanley Cup year?
Yeah.
I think it was close to 40. I'll confirm that.
Yeah. Look that up for me. But I'll go on and say that he is the Ducks' all-time leader in goals with 457, as well as being a 10-time All-Star for his time there with Anaheim. Now, we know Solani, he set that rookie record with Winnipeg. But to me, Maddie, he's got to be known as a Duck, right?
Yeah, I mean, Solani, while he did have that brief, he went to Colorado for a year, and then he wound up in San Jose. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the Ducks.
But what I'm talking about, though, is didn't he have like 4 or 5 seasons with the Jets before he even came to Anaheim? Or
yeah.
was it shorter than that?
Oh, well, I think he had about 3 seasons. I think it was 4. Okay.
4.
Yeah,
okay.
it wasn't many, but it was
right.
Yeah, but he was
right.
he was the face of the Jets right before they were about ready to leave and pack up and go to Arizona, and Teemu was lucky enough to avoid that. So he wound up getting out to Anaheim, and that's where he really made the name for himself. Now, don't get me wrong, he had already laid the foundations of, okay, yeah, this kid's going to be something, because he wound up setting the rookie record in Winnipeg. But once he got to Anaheim, all bets were off. It's just like, yep, that's it. Yeah. This guy's fucking amazing. Yeah,
he's a Duck.
He's a Duck. Yeah. You can't.
He's spent more years with them. Yeah.
I mean, the Jets years, I think if anything, it's a prequel. It's like the trailer to what you're about to see. You know what I mean?
Sure.
15 years with an organization. Yeah, I'd say he's a Duck. But yes, to confirm, he actually scored more than 40. He actually scored almost 50 that year.
Wow.
Did 48 goals, 46 assists for 94 points in his age 36 season.
So you know what?
And that was the Stanley Cup year, right?
That was the Stanley Cup year. Yep.
Yeah.
So
what a great story, man.
Wow.
He had minimal. I think he had single-digit goals in the previous season. I don't know if maybe he was hurt, didn't play a lot of games, but
you know what I think it was? I don't think he fit well in Colorado, because I think there was too much going on in Colorado, too many players in Colorado. And then in San Jose, I don't think he fit in San Jose's system at all, because he's playing with Joe Thornton. He's playing with Patrick Marleau, but I just don't think he's working with them very well. When he got back to Anaheim, that's where it's just that's his comfort zone. This is where he's meant to be, Some players are like that, it's like they really only play great for that team because that's their team. It's what they're meant to do. He was one of those kind of players at the end of the day.
Was Joe Thornton in San Jose at that point? Because I'm pretty sure he was still in Boston, and he only.
No, you're right. He was. Yeah, you're right. He's playing with Marleau, not Thornton. But you're right.
Marleau for sure.
Yeah.
I think a year or two with Thornton, and at that point he was 30 anyway.
Right, and then Thornton was just coming over at that time anyway. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, but
I know. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. but yeah. For Teemu though, you know what? If you ever go back to watch the 2007 run, it's geez, the hockey gods really just made it possible for them. If Teemu was fucking scoring damn near 50 fucking goals, it's Jesus, they really did want Anaheim to win that year, didn't they? Holy shit!
Just the world's, they're just, really going in sync and colliding, and Pronger coming to the team after a year in Edmonton and falling short, and the stars aligned for him that year for sure.
They did. Mighty Ducks for Life saying number 5, Solani. Number 4, Getzlov. Number 3, Brizgalov. Okay.
Briz.
So humongous big. All right. Number 2, Corey Perry. And then number 1, Johnny Gibson. Okay, then. And he says, because I'm a weirdo Ducks fan. Okay.
Favorites. These are favorites. We want your favorites, not the best. Your favorites all the time.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right. That's true. I mean, hey, Briz was he was a walking meme. So,
Right.
Prism to a Chris Pronger, way more better than Milan Lucic. I will agree to that 110%, Raska. And then Mike Babcock is the greatest Mighty Ducks of all time.
Probably meant coach, but I don't agree to this. He was a good coach, but Randy Carlisle got him a championship. So to me, he's going to be the favorite until somebody else does it.
Is
Babcock.
Babcock.
Coming out to Bastion.
Babcock.
Prism saying Steve Ruchin at number 5. It's an interesting pick. That's from the early days with Anaheim. Number 4, J.S. Shiger. Number 3, Paul Correa. Number 2, Teemu Selanne. And number 1, my best friend ever, Chris Pronger. That's true. That is true. Priz is best buddies with Pronger. We can't forget that.
Still not sure how that happened, but that's fine.
Oh, well, Priz just called him out. Live on the air. They've been best buds ever since. So
we got to get back in touch with Pronger, man. You got Hollis Thomas over here. Freaking, we got. I mean, we got some people, man. You want to come over, be a part of the Hockey Happy Hour permanently? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I still reach out to him every once in a while, and he'll respond.
Yeah. Hey, Prongs is a great guy. He's a great dude. Love to have him back on the show one day. Priz saying, once again, my favorites, not who I think are the best. Hey, listen, okay, that's fine. I do like Steve Ruchin, though. That's a good deep cut right there.
That is very good.
He's definitely an honorable mention.
Sergei Fedorov, Mighty Ducks legend. Are you sure, Raska? Are you 100% sure about that one? 31 goals, 34 assists.
Stats form. No, I'm just kidding.
It's like,
we really got to wrap this up here. So I'm gonna give my top 5 here real quick. So, I mean, it's pretty similar to what you guys got going on here. At number 5, I got Ryan Getzlaf. Number 4, I got Scott Niedermayer. Number 3, I got J.S. Shiger. You'd be surprised at who I went with number 2 and number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, I went with Paul Correa.
Okay.
If you guys haven't noticed, I'm a puck collector. And at number 1, for every reason that we had just talked about, went with Hall of Famer Teemu Selanne.
Right. I mean, it's hard to argue. Like, who else are you going to choose? I mean, you could argue Jaguar, but that's the only one I think you could honestly throw up there.
Oh, I forgot to throw up my honorable mention, Bobby Ryan.
Bobby Ryan.
Listen, he had a good stint with the Ducks. It's a shame it fell apart when he left.
But no, I just because he's a favorite of mine, favorite player, so I'd throw his name into the mix. That's it.
Okay.
Listen, I get it.
And let's see. Troska said Sergei Fedorov has 65 points in that 03-04 NHL season. Yeah. Okay. But he's more known for his time with the Red Wings. I'm just saying, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
That's still a good bit of trivia. I didn't know. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I give you that credit on that one there, Roscoe. You are right. Rob is right on that. So, on to finishing this bad boy up, wrapping it up. Thank you all for joining us for the Hockey Happy Hour once again for another trek down the hockey memory lanes for some, and for others, a breakdown of the teams going into next season. Vegas may not necessarily be the favorites to take the division this year. Who knows? Maybe there's a challenge from an upstart Kings team. Maybe Edmonton will finally decide, you know what, let's stop being jack-offs and let's actually do something for once. Who knows? And maybe Anaheim will do more than what is expected of them in this coming season. With that being said, we are the Hockey Happy Hour. Next week, we'll see if we continue our Pacific Division breakdown. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll drift over to the Central. Maybe we'll take a look at the Atlantic. We've got a few more things to break down before we jump into the season. Shaking the heads, just like, no, we're not now.
I already know what we're doing.
My OCD will not allow us to skip divisions, Maddie.
No, mine neither.
We're finishing this bad boy up.
I mean, Frank was getting pissed at me last night for jumping across the board doing a Fandemonium last night.
So, with that being said, if you are a fan of the Hockey Happy Hour, we thank you very much for everybody who commented in and whatnot. And we thank you very much for that and for your support every week. But also, thank you, Pris, as always. And if you do wish to support the other shows on here, we have a great selection of shows that cover all ranges of sports. Besides Fandemonium, Bri, that you have been honored to be the one of the contestants on, what other great shows that we have out here for A2D?
All kinds. We literally cover everything for everybody. So we got the Sports Hounds on Monday night with the Fandemonium and the Rivals, who come on right after Fandemonium. Tuesday you got us, you got Rob Ellis, you have I think that's it actually on Tuesdays. Wednesdays you got A2D Wednesday night. Occasionally we'll have Vetted on there. Occasionally we have Paul Domovich, who is has his show now with us as well. Thursdays you got Les Bowen. That's our Eagles Day. Les Bowen. You got Vetted with Irving Fryer and Hollis Thomas, and segment with somebody that I'm not allowed to say yet. Marcus Thomas comes on after that. Then you got Birds of a Feather. Friday, who do we have on Friday? We just have too many for me to even. Oh, in this very ring comes in on for our wrestling fans every Friday night. So we got stuff for everybody. We got stuff every night. So
here's the thing too.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Mitch
here's
Williams.
the thing on Monday afternoons with Mitch Williams. I'm glad you caught me on that one, Robbie. Just too many to remember. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, turn on all your alerts. You'll never miss anything.
All right, then. And so with that, we give you our show sponsor, Specialized Physical Therapy. If you have any aches and pains, call the doc, Dr. Paul Vidal, and his team of highly trained professionals there in Cherry Hill and Burlington, New Jersey. If you wish to make an appointment, go to www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com for all your aches and pains. All right, then. We thank you all for joining us for another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. Next week here on A2D Radio, we will continue breaking down the Pacific Division. We will talk about the other teams that we have lining this West Coast side of things. We'll see how they fare, or how we think they'll fare, which will probably be dead wrong. But all the same, we will break them down next week, and we will see you guys there. Until then, peace and love, everyone. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. We'll see you next week.